our dreams take flight. A sisterhood emerges, bathed in radiant light. From six to countless, we gather as one, igniting purpose. Our journey just begun. We're the Radiant Women Growth Network, daughters of courage, architects of grace. Guided by wisdom, we find our sacred space, shining with purpose and passion, forever aligned. Conversational fireside chats, laughter in the air, honesty our currency, vulnerability laid bare, encouraging each other, celebrating the climb. We're woven by resilience, a tapestry of time. We're the Radiant Women Growth Network, daughters of courage, architects of grace. Guided by wisdom, we find our sacred space, shining with purpose and passion, forever aligned. Oh, we're the Radiant Women Growth Network, daughters of courage, architects of grace, guided by wisdom, we find our sacred space, shining with purpose and passion, forever aligned, forever aligned, forever aligned. Oh, we're the Radiant Women Growth Network, daughters of courage, architects of grace.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are connecting from all over the world. It's so happy to have you here today. I am so excited and still bursting with gratitude. Yesterday's session, and we were blessed. If you know you were blessed and you were filled and you were poured into, I want you to put the clap emoji and praying hands emoji. Let it be out for a beautiful session yesterday. Thank you for a beautiful session we are about to have today, and our appreciation for our speakers yesterday who did marvelously. What Eunice, our convener, Chiwema Essien, yesterday was so powerful. Just a recap of what happened yesterday. In the intro and in the welcome address of Chiwema, she did remind us that when we walk into the room, we must radiate any corner we find ourselves. It shouldn't just be the makeup which we are known for. It shouldn't just be the elegance, the poise, for not just the charm, but the inner beauty, what is found in the inside of us. It should not just look glorious from the outside, but be empty inside. And she reminded us that to radiate, we need to be resilient. We need to be who we are as women. We need every opportunity and make use of it, that we do not waste anything, to interact effectively if we want to really be women who emerge with radiance. Again, she reiterated that we need to activate ourselves, and by that is to take action and submit ourselves to continuous learning so that we will be refined over and over again. The T part of radiate, she reminded us, was for tendering, to tender ourselves, to nurture ourselves and our gifts so that we can show up as the best versions of ourselves in any place and any time and in every season. And she said we should be expectant. And on that note, I hope you are expectant. If you know that you are expectant, you were filled yesterday and you've castles. put a fire emoji in the chat session. I want to see emojis flying. Friends, which we know is the emergence of the radiant woman. It's for us to move from a place of obscurity to a place of clarity, in the very words of Chiwema Essien. For our second speaker, in a way of recap, yesterday. And if you were here, you know you enjoy. If you were not here, I'm just going to fill you in quickly. Everything she talked about was targeted towards mining, refining, and positioning our gold for radiance. She did mention that in each and every one of us, there is gold. And for us to find that gold, we will be set apart from everybody. She told us to embrace our true identity and to be who God has called us to be. Indeed, there are a lot of things in the world that has knocked us off from our childhood authenticity, what we knew. But as we grow up, life happens. And so sometimes we're off track. She encouraged us, called us to be. And to be that, we needed to ask ourselves 5 questions. Who we are. Who am I? That question, if you are able to answer, it helps you find your identity. Who is my source? If you are able to find who your source is, then you know what you are here for. And why am I here on earth? Which she said, it pointed towards purpose. And the value of a thing, as she quoted, is by Miles Monroe, the value of a thing, if not known, abuse is inevitable. So until you find your purpose, you are likely to even abuse yourself. That is not our portion. If you are, that is not your portion. Your portion is to find your identity, to find your purpose, and to find or to know your source. She, in a way of recapping again, is that she, for her third point, she asked us to answer this question: what do I have in life? What did God bless me with? My talents and my gifts. And then that will point to the destination. So you would answer the next question: where am I going? Once you are able to find what you have in your hands, you are able to identify your talents and you are able to refine it from there and become the best version of yourself. So quickly, she took us through the stages of talent, which is the raw talents, having a skill after you have done a bit of work. And then when you have mastered the skill, it's. And she also dealt with the routes of talent. And the first one was to practice it. If you want your talent to stand out, you must practice your talent, you teach it, and then you turn it into a digital product. In her submission, she reminded us that to be able to do all this, we would need some form of mentorship. We would need to submit ourselves to guidance, to people who have gone ahead of us, so that we can mine, refine, and benefit fully from what God has put in us, which is our talents. The all-powerful speaker in the person of Christine Odunsi graced us with so much wisdom from the Bible when she handled the topic, radiating in your ministry as a woman. She said that we are all called to ministry, just that the operations are different. You mustn't necessarily have a pulpit or a platform on which you are delivering people or shouting the name of Jesus, but your life, our lives daily must radiate, must show Christ. The little we do for the people in our community, the way we present ourselves, we show up Christ-like, is what ministry is for a woman. And she did say that no two ministries are the same. Everybody's ministry is peculiar to them. And for us to radiate in our ministry as women, we must be submissive to godly counsel. We must look at people who have gone ahead of us and who have borne fruits, because Bible says that by their fruits you shall know them. You should not drink from just any place. You should not drink from just any cistern, because you never know. You might be drinking contaminated stuff, right? So she encouraged us to drink from people who have borne good fruits, to submit ourselves to good counsel, to leadership. When we are called to order, she said we should accept it with grace and to be good stewards, so that we do not waste what God has put in us. What a powerful day yesterday. Today is even going to be more powerful. And to set the ball rolling today, our very first speaker is going to talk about finding healing on your journey to radiance. What a beautiful topic. So I'm excited already. And there is none other to do that but our very respectable, outstanding Oni Okeke. Sit back, relax, and then watch her bio play. Thank you.
She's a certified childhood trauma therapist and a hotelier. She founded Thrivers Haven, a trauma support group where she partners with individuals to help them gain a better understanding of their traumatic past, heal from difficult experiences, and equip them with the tools and skills in their healing journey to help them thrive. She is happily married with 3 kids. Now, let's give a warm welcome to our guest, Onyi Okeke. Onyi Okeke is a certified childhood trauma therapist and a hotelier. She founded Thrivers Haven, a trauma support group where she partners with individuals to help them gain a better understanding of their traumatic past, heal from difficult experiences, and equip them with the tools and skills in their healing journey to help them thrive. She is happily married with 3 kids. Now, let's give a warm welcome to our guest, Onyi Okeke. Onyi Okeke is a certified childhood trauma therapist and a
Have you pinned her?
She founded Thrivers Haven, a trauma support group where she partners with individuals to help them gain a better understanding of their traumatic past, heal from difficult experiences, and equip them with the tools and skills in their healing journey to help them thrive. She is happily married with 3 kids. Now, let's give a warm welcome to our guest, Onyi Okeke. Onyi Okeke is a certified childhood trauma therapist and a hotelier. She founded Thrivers Haven, a trauma support group where she partners with individuals to help them gain a better understanding of their traumatic past, heal from difficult experiences, and equip them with the tools and skills in their healing journey to help them thrive. She is happily married with 3 kids. Now, let's give a warm welcome to our guest, Onyi Okeke.
Good morning and good afternoon. How are we all doing? Can you all hear me? Please, if you can hear me, put it in the comment section, put in your fire emoji. Let me see it rolling. Good evening, everybody. Okay, first of all, I want to thank our convener, Emma. Thank you so much for putting up this conference, right? And thank you for my sisters that took yesterday. You all set the ball rolling, right? And today, I'll be talking on finding healing on your journey to radiance, right? And yesterday, we were told, about what, who we are as women, right? We were told about who we are, what God expects of us. We are not just living. We were told that we are co-creators, and it's not just about giving birth and multiplying. we are made in the image and likeness of God. So when we co-create, we do a lot of things. Right? Now, when you say you should radiate, what does it really mean? It's all about having that strong, positive presence, that energy, not just you, but others can see it, right? You don't even need to open your mouth. Just when you move in, when you walk into a place, even as you're going, you exude radiance. You exude radiance, right? Now, when um Oluchi was speaking yesterday, she mentioned 5 things that we need to ask as humans, right? That we need to, these questions we need to, and as she was saying all these things, I could literally, connect, because these were the questions I had to ask. As she was dropping, I was like, wow, wow, wow. Right? Now, I have been in that place. The first one was, who am I? Who am I? Now, at some point in my life, I had to ask, such questions because, growing up, having your dreams and all that. Then at some point, I got married and I had children. Okay? I had business going on. And remember, she said, it is not about making money to sort your bills out. What do you have to offer? Right, aside the money aspect, what other things can you give out? Can you churn out as a co-creator? What can you create out of nothing? What can you give? What can you pour into? What can you pour into people? What can people bring from you? No, I got married and everything. I thought, okay, that everything is okay. I have my children. I have the money there. Yet I had that vacuum in me. There was something missing, right? If it's about the money, I had it all, but there was something missing. I had to ask the question, who am I? Now, at that point where she said, who is your source? When I got to that stage, I had to ask. I found out that I didn't even have a relationship with God. My kids will get ready, I will get them ready for church. Yeah. Then my husband would take them to church while I stay home. I was like, what is there? Why should I go to church? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? There was this fight in me. I did not have it. I thought I had it all, but there was something missing. Okay, now you go on into what is your purpose? Because I had nothing going on. At some point, I called my husband, I sat him down, and I told him, I need to see a shrink. I am depressed. We had that. He just laughed, like, I'm here, talk to me. But the thing is that I couldn't voice it out. I couldn't place my hand on what the problem was. I couldn't pinpoint it. I couldn't say this is it, but I knew that something was wrong. I knew that something was wrong, but I couldn't say this is it. I have looked around. Okay, yes, I'm married. Yes, I have children. Yes, I have a business going on, but there was something. My mind wasn't. And remember, she said that if you don't know what your purpose is, you'll be everywhere. You will do this, you will do that, you will jump into this, you will even meet people. You will associate with people you don't even have anything to do with. Now, I started coconut oil business, right? It was moving, like going. At some point, my husband had to say, oh, let us do this in a larger scale, right? Then at some point, and the thing is that when you start something, yes, I told God, this is what I want to do, this is it. Now, I started it, but I did not ask God, is this what you want for me? And let me tell you something, when you do so, because God doesn't fail. anything that his name is attached to it, he will let it will move. That's just God. But the thing is that not in his will, when you're not according to his purpose, at some point you will be agitated. There will be that vacuum in you. So when I started the business, it was going. Then I moved from buying in numbers, picking like 10 pieces, 20 pieces, moved to buying a bag, 2 bags. Then when it got to the point of getting, I started getting like 5 bags and all that. One day, everything I produced got burnt. Like the whole or everything I could not make, the main money, not to talk of profit. And that was how it ended. I was like, okay, this one is down. What next? I became a distributor for one lady that's into organic product. Yeah. So I became the distributor in the whole of the Southeast, right? The only distributor you can imagine. So in the whole of Southeast, Anambra, Enugu, Ebonyi, everyone was just ordering, and it was moving. Yeah, because I told God, okay, this is it. Let us go. Now it was moving. People were coming. I was making profit. At some point, I borrowed money from my husband, added to it was moving, and I made that money. I was like, okay, let me pay you back. He said, no, hold it on to show. Okay, he was so happy that the business was moving. Then at some point, I was still having that vacuum. I was still, I felt empty inside. I wasn't satisfied. Right? At some point, I had to stop that one. Putting hands in, there, anyone, I even went to a point of learning how to make wigs, right? Then I told myself, this is not it. There is something, there is something, there is something. Then when she said, who is your source? When I got that, I had to go back to God. You created me. You know what you want me to be. How can I bring this? How do I start? Where do I start from? Yeah. So I started. I was just here and there. Then, and remember when our convener Chimamo was telling us, about radiance, what radiance is all about. She mentioned awareness, being aware, becoming aware. Are you aware of who you are? So when I got my awareness, when I came to that point, it was in 2020, and then I got to know what the problem was. It happened that I was in the same space with my father, right? Having left the house for years, I had no opportunity to be with him in the same space. Now 2020 came, and okay, so they came into to Nigeria for my sister's traditional wedding, right? So the lockdown happened. So they were still in my place when the lockdown happened. I had to stay with him for like 3 months. That was when I got to know that that the limitations you are having was as a result of your childhood trauma. I got to know, this is the reason why so and so happened. Did I stop there? No, I went ahead to how do I? Right? How do I? Now, somebody will now ask, what is trauma? Because I've met a lot of people who don't even know that trauma exists. Some people think it's about trauma and burns department in a hospital. Right? Now, trauma is the experiences we went through as children, if we narrow it to that, because there are different types of trauma, but childhood trauma is the most subtle, the subtle one that holds us down, right? So these are experiences we went through that we had no control over. You had no control over it because it happened in your childhood. And when I talk about this one, it's about complex trauma, right? We have the chronic trauma, we have the acute trauma. But I am here to talk about the childhood trauma, which is also known as the complex trauma, right? Now, these things happen as we were, when we are children, when we had no control over what was going on in our life. Okay, so we had this mainly, it was mainly caused by our caregivers, our parents, our teachers, our siblings, uncles, aunts. Now, when we went through all these things, all the experiences were embedded in our subconscious mind, and that is where we operate from, not even from our conscious mind. So while we experienced all the emotional neglect, the verbal abuse, the sexual abuse, the emotional abuse, everything, while we went through all that, they were embedded in our subconscious mind. And while we were going through that, we had to, form our coping mechanisms. We had to form our coping mechanisms. And what are these coping mechanisms? They are ways by which we handled those things. Our inner child handled what we went through. For some people, it will be like, being in the freeze moment. Then for some people, they will want to go away from that environment. Then for some people, they become agitated, anger. Then for some people, they will just want to suppress whatever their emotions. For some people, they just want to forget. Okay, this did not happen. This did not happen. It is just a dream. It is not happening to me. And at the same time, we have to, form our core beliefs. What are these core beliefs? For some people, they said they believed that, oh, I am unlovable. There is nothing I will do in this world for people to love me. For some people, they will say, I am unworthy. I am not worthy to be loved. I am not worthy for good things to come to me. I don't deserve good things. These were the core beliefs we formed as children. Now, because this thing happened over a period of time, it did not just happen in a day or a week or a month or even 3 months. It happened, years while we were like 3. As for me, it has started when I was 3. Because if you really want to know if you want to check, your trauma, understand how you have to go back. It's called the trauma history. As for me, it started when I was 3 years old. Yes? So it was your inner child that experienced all those things and formed the core beliefs, formed the coping mechanisms, and used that to grow. Now, as adults, when we have grown and things don't move the way, well, that's why we live an empty lifestyle, a purposeless life. That's why we see sometimes we struggle with things that we are not even supposed to struggle with. That's why we see ourselves, not thinking, not sitting, and being able to focus on a thing and achieve it. That's why we procrastinate a lot. That's why we see ourselves in different relationships that we are not even supposed to find ourselves in. That's why when people treat us the way they want, we take it, oh, that's fine. That's why when we are in a space, we want to please people, despite the negative effect it has on us. That's why we do a lot of things. That's why you see a lot of our young girls that go after men who are old enough to be their father. It's not because they want that money. No, they are looking for that father love. That's fatherly love. That's what they want someone to show them, that love they did not get as children. That's your inner child seeking for what it means, right? So when we go through trauma, it is not just you, it is a wound. And trauma is being embedded in our body, in our different parts of our body. That's what it is. In our central nervous system, what does central nervous system do? It sends message to the brain. So when you go through trauma, it's sending messages to the brain. Okay, this is what is happening. Now, when you form your coping mechanisms, it's telling the brain, okay, take note of this. When something like this happens, this is the way you react to it. Now, when you find yourself as an adult, when you meet the triggers, your triggers, because definitely the triggers must be there, you will meet them. My trigger was being with my dad in the same space. Now, he started everything he did while I was a child, when I could not do anything, why I could not say, why are you doing this to me? When his verbal abuse was so much that I could not stand up for myself, his emotional abuse was so much that I couldn't say anything. What did I do? I became angry. I was filled with this hatred. Now I was functioning from my subconscious mind. Okay. Now when you people will ask, okay, in what ways can trauma limit us? Because when we do what we do, we think, oh, we are perfect, we are doing it right. No. Sometimes we act based on the trauma, what we have gone through. Now, for some people, they have it as, low self-worth and low self-esteem. Now, these are two different things. Low self-worth, it's internal, right? It's about when you look at yourself and you feel worthless. When you're from your inside, remember, you give from inside. Your light shines from the inside out. Now, when you have darkness inside of you, how can you shine? Now, when you have that low self-worth, you feel, oh, I'm unlovable. Oh, I'm not worthy. Oh, I'm not worthy of respect. I'm not worthy for someone to consider me. And now, let me tell you, I am not making this up, because I have been in that position. Had it been you saw me, you met me like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I won't be talking like this. I'll be like, I am not worthy to be in the midst of these ladies. I am not worthy to stand before people and tell them and talk to them with this authority. Because I felt, because I was not loved the way I ought to, I felt like I was nothing. I couldn't amount to anything. Right? So I focused on my outside. Adorning myself and every other thing. Now, but the low self-esteem is about the external, your qualities, your physical appearances. And when you look at it, sometimes we another way trauma can limit you is you have this fear of failure. And for some people, they want to be perfect. Before, I couldn't even venture into doing something. Why? Because I would think, I will fail. I will fail. I will fail. I had this constant negative mindset. And when your mindset is messed up, you can't do anything. You can't produce anything positive. So we have this fear of failure. And it is from that emotional abuse, that emotional neglect, that psychological, underdevelopment you had as a child. You want everything to be perfect. If you want something to be perfect, you can't do anything. You can't not do anything. You will get stuck where you are, right? You talk of when you don't have emotional support, what happens? You avoid everything at all costs. You avoid having good relationship with people. You avoid going to that's why you see a lot of people say, oh, I'm an introvert. I don't like going out. I don't like going out. I like staying on my own as an introvert. No, you are not. You have your potential buried in you. You have something inside. And that's why you are here. God wants you to shine your light. You cannot stay in the darkness because the enemy has seen what you have, what God has deposited in you. Now it is using what happened to you as a child to torment you, to tell you that you cannot go on. Now, so for some people, it's fear of visibility. Okay, they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be seen. They don't want, when you put them in a leadership, position, they run away. They don't want to come before people and speak. For some people, remember then, you'll be like, oh, yes, I know that answer. While you were in secondary school and primary school, I know that answer, but I don't want to raise up my hand and answer it. But when they ask you to write it, you just put everything down. These are part of, the trauma, the way trauma limits you. So as an adult, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to be in the limelight. You just want to be at the background. Yeah? You don't want the light to be, to shine on you. You withdraw at every point in time. Now, for some people, it's trust issues. Right? So I was having a devotion with the kids today, and we discussed today was on trust. Some people find it difficult to trust, no matter how little. And what can that be? It's because they have experienced, disappointment, a lot of disappointment as children. They are being promised something, then it won't come up. Then they'll be like, what is there? People fail, so why should I? And now that is why, one of the reasons why I had a failed relationship with God in the first place, because I found it hard to trust. Could you believe that while I was getting, I was getting married, so we went to the reverend's office for marriage course with my husband. So while we were waiting for the reverend, my husband was sitting just opposite me, and I told him, babe, do you know, in the course of this thing, if you feel that at some point you don't want the marriage to continue, it's fine, just tell me, then we can go our separate ways. But just because of the children, we can stay in the same space but live as neighbors or roommates. Why did my husband was like, what is wrong with you? Where did this discussion come up? But I was speaking based on my childhood experiences, what I saw, right? The environment I grew up in, how I saw my parents. I was like, this is not it. So instead of me being in the same position, let me just move ahead. Just tell me, don't waste my time while I won't waste yours. Now, I was speaking based on my traumatic experiences. And a lot of people are so into it. And that's why we have a lot of failed marriages, a lot of failed relationships, people that cannot stay in the same space, people that cannot do a lot of things when it comes to relationship, be it cordial or romantic relationship. They just cut everybody off, right? So these are the ways. For some people, it's chronic health. Trauma can make someone have ulcer. Yes, I had it. I thought that was why I was still in secondary school in my JS1. I thought it was, and I was this kind of child that eats a lot. So it wasn't because it was not, oh, you go hungry or the, it was because of what was going on, the toxic environment I found myself. So it had effect on my body. For some people, when they say, "Oh, I have pains, arthritis, and all that," these are causes of trauma. Yeah. So when some things, oh, knee pain, hip pain, trauma happens to our body, it affects our body. That's how terrible trauma is. So when you see me loud it is not because I want to scare people. No, I want to educate people for you to know that there is something wrong and the enemy is using it against us. But today, God wants you to know that you can break free. He wants you to shine your light. He wants you to radiate. He wants you to make use of what He has given, what He has deposited in you to do the work He has set you to do. The Bible made us to understand that we are light. We are the salt of this earth. When we come in, we give taste to things. We make things change. Let us know our authority as a believer, not just as a Christian living carelessly. Right? Let us take charge. We were charged yesterday to take actions. Not when you hear the things you do, when you hear these things, you keep them. No, take action. If I did not take action, I wouldn't be here talking to you. So when I say embark on your healing journey, it is for you to see who you are. You will enjoy yourself. You will know how to create healthy boundaries. You will know how to live with your triggers. Today, I can stay with my father. I do not care whatever he brings on. I will just, freely. I can stay with him for years. I don't care. He is one of the triggers, but I know how to handle that. And I tell you, when you begin your healing journey, when you identify what is truly wrong, when you go through your trauma history, you will see that with the skills you will have, you will get to know you, and you will get to handle your triggers. You can work with anybody in any environment you find yourself. You don't need to avoid some people. No, you don't avoid people. You know how to handle them, to manage them. Right? So when you find yourself in a toxic environment, you don't run away or you become, you freeze or you're so frightened. No. So how do you find your healing for your inner child? Right? Because it is your inner child that experienced these things. That child in you, not your adult form. No. It is the child that is still wounded. That child is seeking for healing. So that child, when you explode in anger, it is the child speaking, telling you, this is me, I am still here, I am still wounded. When you find yourself not controlling your emotions, it is your inner child telling you, I am still wounded, I am not healed. You still have the wound in the inside and nobody is seeing it. That's what trauma is all about. It's a wound that is in the inside of you and not outside. No one is seeing it but you, but it is still affecting you. Right? So the first way for you to find healing for your inner child is to acknowledge and identify the inner child. When you see your emotions flying here and there, know that it is your inner child calling you out. Acknowledge the fact that, oh yes, you are wounded. Yeah, recognize that your inner child still exists. It is not your adult self. It is your inner child. Acknowledge it. Identify, the specific moments or patterns from your childhood that may have contributed to your current emotional and psychological state. And the second one is you understand the impact. Understand the impact. Know that what happened to you wasn't normal. It is not right. You did not deserve it. Every child requires for the caretaker, for the mother, for the parents to nurture them, to love them, fill their love tank. Every child requires love, requires understanding. Understand. So when you understand the impact that trauma has had on you, then you will know that there are positive and negative experiences. Then you know how to connect the patterns. Then you get on the inner child work. Yeah? So you go into this, like I said, healing journey. Excuse me. You go into the healing journey. You find yourself, picture yourself. I went through all this. That was when I got to know that my trauma started at the age of, when I was 3 years old. So find that your inner child, acknowledge the inner child, tell the inner child that it is not its fault, but I am here. I am here to make it work. I am here to heal you. I know that you exist. And the fourth one is you go for therapeutic intervention. It is not an easy journey. It is not an easy journey, but you have to do it for your light to shine, for you to radiate. It is what it is. You have to go through it. You have to, and it is not, at some point you will get so overwhelmed. You get so overwhelmed, but because you have the tools, you have the skills at some point, and you know that God is with you on that journey. That's where the Holy Spirit, comes into play. You cannot do it alone because at some point you will feel so drained. But the Holy Spirit is there to hold you up because God wants you to find your purpose. He wants you to work for Him. He wants you to He wants you to be positive. He wants your mindset to change. So when you get drained at some point, because you have a support system, the support system in the person of the Holy Spirit and your therapist, they hold your hands and walk through that journey with you. Right? And the fifth one is you have self-compassion and self-love. Right? Have self-compassion and self-love. Love yourself. Treat yourself. Even when people reject you, just first of all, love yourself. Have compassion on yourself, on your inner child. When okay, let me give us this scenario. Just like toddlers, when they get so worked up, when they are tired, when they are hungry, they are everywhere. Their emotions are everywhere. They cry, they scream, they throw tantrums. But the moment you call that child and find out what the problem is, maybe the child needs a diaper change or some food or needs to take a nap. When you give that child that thing the child requires, the child sleeps and everywhere there's peace. That's how it is with your inner child. So when you identify, when you acknowledge, when you give yourself that love, that inner child, when you give it that love, then you have this peace. That is the peace that is being promised us in the Word of God. The peace that passeth all human understanding. When you are faced with things, you won't know where this peace, because the peace is coming from the inside. Because your inner child is at peace. Then you will know how to handle things. You will know how to radiate. Then the sixth one is you set healthy boundaries. I've touched on it before. You will set healthy boundaries that people will respect, whether they want it or not, whether they like it or not. You don't have to push, oh, this is what I want. This is your values. Everything about you will say it. Then when people come close to you, they will know what to do and what not to do. And the last one is you reparent yourself. Reparent yourself. Reparent yourself. Yeah? Get a supportive relationships. Be mindful of who you are. Be mindful of who you are. So, and yesterday we were reminded that if you don't heal, you will bleed on the people that did not cut you. That's the simple truth. If you don't heal, you will injure other people. So I will leave you with this. When you surpass the trauma of your past, right? When we disentangle ourselves, when you disentangle yourselves from the toxic thoughts that suffocate your potential, then you radiate. When you surpass the trauma of your past, when you disentangle yourself from the toxic thought that suffocates your potential, then you radiate. So thank you so much for being being on this journey with me. Thank you so much for joining us, for joining me, and I hope you got a lot. Thank you.
Hmm. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know what to say. My notebook is full. It's like Onyi was just talking to me specifically, and I'm sure that, in fact, listening to you, it's like everybody has trauma in one way or the other. And we have all been exposed to trauma intentionally or unintentionally, because I don't think there's anyone that has lived a trauma-free life. And from what you've said today, we have a lot we need to sit down and look inwards and talk about this. We don't talk about it enough. So we heard everything that was said, and it's been such an eye-opener. So I don't know what else to say, only that we heard you, and this trauma talk is really neglected in so many places, but you've opened up our eyes to a lot of things that we don't even think about. So can we put up the fire emoji for Miss Onyi? This is really, really powerful. It's such a powerful talk today. I don't even know where to start. So please, can we put up the fire emoji and Apa, for this beautiful word today about trauma? We really need to look inwards, and we're going to put up Onyi's social media handles, so that if we have anything that we need to talk to her about or follow up about this trauma issue, we can always contact her. This is really such an eye-opener. I don't know where else to start, but my notebook is full. I hope we all have our pen and our notebook to jot these things down. Please put your fire emoji and show appreciation, because if you don't have knowledge, you just be living in ignorance. You think that this is me, I'm an introvert, and she has made us to know that introvert is not all it's made out to be. Sometimes introvert is just you hiding from your potential because you don't know how to deal with your trauma. You don't know how to live from where you got stuck in. So thank you so much, Ms. Onyi Okeke, for this beautiful talk. And we're going to do justice to it with what we have written down. So we're going to go to the next topic today. And we are expecting the second speaker.
So she will be coming in at any moment from now. Miss Odukwe, she's gonna be talking to us about our career, radiating in our career and our finances. So we're gonna listen to the bio about the next speaker, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you very
Next,
much.
we have Sandra Odukwe. Sandra Odukwe is a devoted wife and mother to 3 wonderful children. She serves as a cloud financial manager within the technology division of one of Africa's foremost financial institutions. Residing in Lagos, Nigeria, she is an ardent learner and a passionate advocate for excellence in all facets of life. With over a decade of executive experience, her professional expertise encompasses advanced cloud cost optimization strategies, comprehensive supply management, and dynamic collaboration with diverse IT teams across multiple sectors. Her proficiency extends to thorough market research, acute contract negotiation, meticulous tender administration, and data-driven strategic decision-making, as well as exceptional customer service. She is recognized as a key resource for cloud cost optimization, digital transformation initiatives, and IT enterprise infrastructure within the MENA region. Her career achievements are marked by substantial cost savings, heightened operational efficiency, and exemplary compliance and regulatory adherence. Her commitment to continuous professional development is evidenced by my credentials, which include FinApps, Certified Practitioner, a suite of CIPS certifications, the COVID 2019 Foundation Certificate, an MSc in Information Technology, and a BTech in Mathematics and Computer Science. Beyond the professional sphere, she is a voracious reader with a particular interest in biographies and finance literature. She derived great pleasure from engaging with podcasts, gospel music, and inspirational messages. Dining at distinguished restaurants is a favored indulgence, and I hope the restorative power of sleep in high regard, even in brief intervals. She is a firm believer in the limitless potential of women to delineate their own boundaries and achieve unprecedented success in all areas of life. This belief is rooted in the application of time-tested principles that can propel individuals to extraordinary heights. With a round of applause, please welcome Sandra Odukwe, who will share her expertise with us today.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be part of the Radiant Women Network. I truly consider this a rare privilege in 2024. The past couple of days has actually been wonderful. My co-speakers would know what I'm talking about, but today I told Mrs. Chinwem, I said, we are going to do what the Lord has asked us to do. So maybe you can say amen wherever you are. So good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning from wherever it is that you're joining us from. Today, I'm going to be taking us through a topic, radiating in your career and finances. A lot has actually been said, and I like to teach. So I'll just like to take us through some preparations I made. So what is radiating? This definition has come to every one of us since yesterday, but I'll just like to draw out some salient points that I want you to think about. Radiating is the act of spreading energy. I like that word, energy. So maybe just take a second and just look at yourself. Look at where you're sitting, where you're lying, where you're listening in from. And whether you believe it or not, your presence is actually exuding some sort of energy. And the spread, radiating is not only the spreading of energy, we're also referring, is also an act of spreading influence and spreading success in various areas of life. But in this conference, I'm going to focus more on career and finances. And yeah, I don't want you, if you're not in the corporate space, you don't have a 9 to 5, please don't say this particular class is not for me. In fact, when I was thinking about this topic, one of the things that came to my mind was, okay, now I understand why God asked me to start a LinkedIn radio event. And that radio event is titled The Marketplace Success. And one of the definitions that came to me on that particular program was that your assigned marketplace is not only to 5 where you wake up every morning, you dress up and you go out there. No, you can actually be a housewife, a business owner by the side of your house, a cobbler, a carpenter, whatever it is, wherever space that you're in right now, and you are actually, you're exchanging some sort of value. So you're sitting in the house, your husband goes out to bring all the money, and you are at home raising your children, taking care of your aged parents. Look, that is your assigned marketplace. That is your career space. That is what it is. So don't just now think, oh, because I'm not wearing a 6-inch heel and waking up by 5. I live in Lagos. Waking up by 5, hitting the road, coming back at 5. No, I'm not a career person. No. If you are tying wrapper and teaching your children the traditions of your locality or wherever it is that you're from, my dear, that is your career. How do you feel about that? That is actually your assigned marketplace. You know why? You are exchanging value there. Look, those children that you are taking care of, that's your aged father or aged mother that you are caring for. Is going to be a source of joy, a source of fulfillment to you in the future. I want us to take our minds. You know, women are fond of, what's the word now? We are fond of, doing all that segregation. And I don't like to identify with that. And that's the reason why when we talk about career radiance, this is a state of your career growth, your professional achievement that have a positive impact on both your personal fulfillment and the broader professional environment. I have been working for the past 13 years since I left the university. And it just occurred to me in 2024 that I have been working nonstop, earning a salary. And I have colleagues who have worked for 20 years, for 24 years. In fact, one of the ladies I looked up to in my workplace before she resigned and relocated, when I told her, oh my, you can't believe that I've been here for 9 years. She told me, Sandra, I have been here for the past 17 years. And I looked at her. You see. So, what are the key components of your career radiance? Number 1 would be skill mastery. You've become so accustomed to a particular system, to providing some sort of solution to a particular problem in a particular space, that even without opening a book, you're called upon to solve a problem in that line. You do not even need anyone to tell you what to do. All that is required is for you to be brought into that space. The second component here is for career radiance is networking. You see, there is no human being that is an island. So all these, I like staying on my own. Like the previous speaker said, all this I like being on my own. I'm an introvert. My dear, we need to check if it is trauma that is speaking. You are not an island. I am not an island. If we were islands, God would have just created you and I and dropped us into the world. But he didn't do that. if we were supposed to live in isolation, if we were supposed to exist on our own terms, God would have just shaped you, molded you, and thrown you into that country where you are right now. But he didn't do that. He put you through a family system. He put you in a space where you have to interact with other human beings. And in his wisdom, in the wisdom of the Almighty that created you and I, he told us, it is my desire that you prosper. Tell yourself, I want you to tell yourself, it is the desire of God for me to prosper. And one of the ways that's designed for you to prosper is through your interaction. So networking helps you to build strong, meaningful connections. Come on now. When I say meaningful connections, I am challenging every one of us that have taken out time. You're so brilliant. You're so intelligent to take out time to register for such an important conference. You see, a meaningful connection is not just hello, hi, how are you? Fine. A meaningful connection is that connection that adds to you, that connection that multiplies you, not the one that subtracts from you, not the one that divides you, not the one that when you're done with that conversation, you feel drained. Like, I've been talking for the past 10 minutes. What exactly was I talking about? No. The next key component on your career radiance would be your personal branding. This refers to crafting a professional image that reflects your strengths and your aspirations. But before I go into financial radiance, I want to touch more on this career radiance. It is possible for you to be in a particular place for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years, for 20 years, and you cannot lay your hands on the particular impact your presence in that space has commanded. Be like that. And so I'm going to close this particular session of mine with, what my career journey has been like. So you don't think that, oh, she has always gotten it right. No. Yesterday, when Reverend Chrissy was talking, she said something. She said, most of the people that we see who have, attend that place that we look up to, that we admire, she said most of them have scars. They have made mistakes. They have gone through life journeys. I mean, when she was saying that, I took my pen and I wrote it down. And I think she was trying to challenge us to understand the importance of mentorship, the importance of looking at yourself and telling yourself that, you know what, this is where I want to be. But hey, I'm going to look for someone else who has gone there, who has walked that path. And I'm going to look up to that person and I'm going to follow through with that person. You cannot radiate in your career. And right now, I'm also referring to those of us who may actually be in that 9-to-5 space. And we are still answering, sir, ma, yes, sir, yes, ma. Hello, yes, sir, yes, ma. If you're still in that space, like I'm still in that space, truth is, you will not make a headway. And I'm telling you this for a fact. If you do not have a mentor, someone who has walked that path, someone who has valuable lessons, many of the times, your mentors are not people that are going to come to you. You owe your destiny the responsibility to go to them. You owe your destiny the responsibility to search these people out and follow after them. And many of the time, the people that will mentor you, guide you, and protect you, they do not necessarily have to be your friends. They don't necessarily have to be people that you just wake up by 12 minutes and say, hello, hi, what's up, ma? Hello, sir. I just want to ask you how you're doing. No. And that is the reason why I would say it again, that if you listened to what our first speakers talked about yesterday, when she was referring to purpose, understanding who the person who has created you is, aligning your life to what he has brought you into this world to do, if you pay close attention to that aspect of this conference, it will dawn on you, just as it dawned on me again yesterday, that there is nothing God does that is without a purpose. You need to understand and accept that. So the time when you wake up, instead of you sitting and telling yourself, oh, I've been working in this place for the past 12 years or 20 years or 30 years. I can't even lay my hands on what I've achieved. I'm tired of just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. My dear, start asking questions like, what exactly does God expect me to do in this place? This was the question that I began to ask myself that changed everything in my life. When you begin to ask yourself the right questions in your career, one of the things that it also does for you is you cease to do the basic regular thing that every other person is doing. Okay, let's go to financial radiance. Financial radiance speaks of achieving financial stability and growth while positively influencing others through financial wisdom and decisions. You see. Now, financial radiance doesn't mean that if you ask me, Sandra, how much is in your bank account now? I may tell you I have 0 naira. And I might show you my bank statement to prove that. But if you come to me and tell me, Sandra, I have 100 million. I don't know what to do with it. The money is just sitting down there in my account. And in 5 minutes, I will tell you what to do with 100 million naira or $100 million or 100 million pounds. I will tell you what to do with that money, and you really do not need to work again. You see, when you get to that point where you begin to dispense wisdom and enable other people to make financial decisions that influences their lives and generations, then you have actually started radiating financially. What are the key components of financial radiance? Number 1 is financial literacy. What do you know about money? What is money? What is your relationship with money? Most of us grew up with a warped, especially in this part of the world, there is a warped understanding of what money is. And that's the reason why when money enters into the hands of certain people, you begin to see who they really are. Poverty blinds the true person. But when money comes into the hand of a person, then you can know if that person is wise, if that person is kind, if that person is an intelligent person, or if that person is foolish. What do you know about money? Do you even know that money is a tool? Or are you among the people that think that money is the end of the world? Oh, once my bank account has $1 million in it, come on, I'm made. Before you talk to me, you have to check me out well. You have to size me up. Are you in that category of people? So, where does money come from? How do I multiply money? Because when you begin to look at these concepts, when you begin to think about these concepts, even before you even have any change in your hand, it sets the tone for how much of it that you're going to have. The next key component of financial radiance here would be strategic planning. I should be able to look at every woman in this room and ask you, what is your 5-year plan? What is your 5-year financial plan? What is your 10 years financial plan? What is the financial plan of your family? If anything happens to you now and you're not in the picture, are your children going to go to the streets? Would your husband or would your spouse be stranded because you're no longer in place? Strategic planning. Another component of financial radiance is what? Generosity. Your ability to have so much that you are contented, yet you still have enough to give to others. Generosity is that, generosity is not that, that security man that is there, I just gave him 1,000 as I was going out of the office. No, I am talking about your church calling upon you, your mosque calling upon you, that charity organization calling upon you to tell you, we have people that are going back to school in September. We were wondering if you could sponsor 10 widows, and you can comfortably bring out the money without lying down on your bed and saying, this money that has gone out of my pocket now, God, where am I going to get it from? Generosity. Integrating career and financial radiance would require some actionable steps. Steps like goal setting. I mentioned that in strategic planning, continuous learning, and then mindset shift. So let's get back to some stories that happened in the past that can enable me address these concepts I've shared with us. When I started my career, I started working as a hostel officer in a boarding school in Port Harcourt here in Nigeria. And, yes, I had a bachelor's degree in mathematics and computer science. And then Nigeria happened to me. Yes, Nigeria, my beloved country, it happened. So, when you have applied for jobs, you have applied, you have even gone for interviews. And all those interviews came back to me with, we're sorry, unfortunately, we've made a decision, and all of that. I was in that space. And so out of the blues, when I came back from my youth service, a friend of mine in the university called me and she said, there's an opportunity. They're going to give you housing, feeding. All they need you to do is just to be a hostel officer. And I was like, okay, yeah. I have to, I'm done with school. I can't stay at home and be eating from my parents' pots. It's time to work. I spent 5 years learning, studying maths and computer science. So I might as well now just start working and earning something. And that was how I left the house, got the blessings of my parents, and I went out. My first salary was 33,833 naira, 33 kobo. You see, I love money. I like money so much. So, and I like numbers as well. So that first paycheck meant heaven and earth to me. I didn't know anything about saving. I didn't know anything about investments. So whenever my salary came, I removed 10%. That was when I became the alpha and omega in my family. Don't even bother telling me you have a problem. You want to go for one at Shebi. I will send you 5K, 10K, like that. This was, several years ago. And I continued like that. Now, when I was in that space, within 3 months, no, it wasn't 3 months. Within 2 months of working as a hostel mistress, the school's administrator called me and she said, Sandra, I've looked at your credentials. I think you can be an ICT teacher. I said, yes, I love to teach. What classes would you want me to teach? She said, we'd like you to take year 1, JES 1, JES 2, and JES 3. Do you mind? I said, I don't mind. Is this going to come with an increment? Yes. Pam, that was how I started. I started teaching JES 1, JES 2, JES 3. I went out of the scope of the Nigerian curriculum and started teaching IGCSE curriculum of ICT. I challenged my students to think outside Nigeria. So many of them today, school did their first degree abroad. Many of them are living abroad. I was living in that school with those kids. And let me tell you what God taught me in 2 years that I worked there. God taught me patience. Because dealing with teenagers, these were children between the ages of 10 to 16 years in that boarding school. This was a highbrow boarding school in Port Harcourt. For any of us living in Port Harcourt and Royal Girls Academy, that was actually where my career journey started. And while I was working, I was still applying for jobs. And God, within 2 years, I handled several responsibilities in that school. But when I think back those years, God was teaching me patience, tolerance. I was working with teenagers. I was working with young girls from very wealthy homes who don't even understand, who don't know what respect is, who don't have regard for you, who don't want to listen to you. And so that's the reason why when certain people, act a certain way in the corporate space, they just, and they see my reaction. They're like, Sandra, you're so patient. That phase of my life prepared me for the journey ahead. So wherever it is right now that you're in your career, there is a lesson that you are being passed through. And if you do not pass that lesson, you may not find yourself in the next place. Fast forward to 2 years and 5 months from when I started that job. My sister was I was at home for vacation, and my sister was going back to school. And she said, oh, can you just follow me to the motor park? And I went with her. And while she was trying to make a withdrawal, I said, okay, there's a Zenith Bank branch, and I walked in. I don't know anybody there. I don't have any connections there. But when I walked into that space and communicated with the bank secretary, the guy just told me, send your resume to me. Several months later, I started my banking career. My banking career started with 75,000 naira. Yes, in 2014. Yes. And then events happened. I got married and children came on. And yes, life started. I had no financial literacy. I knew nothing about saving, investments. I knew nothing about networking. I learned all that in the bank. And so in the space of my career, I have interacted with the high, the low, the mighty. I have met people of different nationalities, people of different categories financially. And yet, I still did not understand how to navigate my finances. One of the time I began to complain terribly to my mom. And I always told her, oh, mommy, I've been doing this. I'm not happy about the amount of money I'm earning. Yeah, the promotions are coming, but it's not just adding up. And she said, don't you think it is time for you to invest in your education? Because it's looking like your entire focus is on your family. Don't you think it's time for you to get an additional degree? The times are changing. And that is what I'm bringing to you right now. The last time you went to do that certification was some 10 years ago. The last time you thought of getting a second degree from your master's or from your first degree was some 20 years ago. And you're sitting down and you're asking, oh, why is this person that I graduated from the same school at the same time doing better than myself? When you understand that time is the currency of destiny, and that every single time or second that passes cannot be retrieved, you will know that every conversation you engage in has the capacity to make you or to mar you. And that was how I was one of those women that got married with the intention that I have married a savior. The savior of the universe, the savior of the world has finally come to take me to my promised land. I don't need to do so much. All I need to do is just wake up one morning, oh, get pregnant, oh, have a baby and all of that, until life happened to me in 2018. Until the rug was taken off rudely from under my feet. And I found myself in a situation that nobody, my sisters, nobody prepared me for. When I found myself in the place where as a banker, I was in debt, where as a banker, I was begging and I was borrowing because there were bills to pay because my husband was incapacitated. when I found myself in that space, that was when everything I have written in this diary began to make sense to me. You see, the reason why you're listening to me today is because God does not want you to keep living your life like you are the Alpha and the Omega of your life. God is bringing it again. I'm sure some of the things I'm saying, you've heard it somewhere else. But God is reminding you again that there is a reason why I have created you in my image and after his likeness, that there is a reason why he has kept you in that country where you are. There is a reason why you're in that space where you are. And it is his desire, his utmost desire, that you use all the resources heaven has deployed into your life to be a blessing. Listen, the reason when I understood that the reason why God gave me money was not so that I can brag or live braggadociously or speak anyhow or act anyhow, that the reason why change was in my hands was because he needed his kingdom to be advanced. And when I say his kingdom to be advanced, I'm not talking about standing behind a pulpit and declaring the word of God. No. When you become the hand, the mouth, the legs, the hands, the school fee payer of the poor, of the needy, you are actually fulfilling the purpose why God has created you and brought you into this place. Every woman in this place listening to me today has a responsibility before God to use all the resources within her. And that was why when we were being taught yesterday about mining and refining, our speaker said something. Is it possible for you not to know that there is gold here and think about mining it? It is not possible. I began when that season of my life hours. I do not mean I go 9 to 5 and then I started sleeping in the office. That's not what I'm talking about. I started listening. I started seeking for knowledge. I began to seek for external knowledge. I wasn't looking, it wasn't money that I was looking for right now. I was now looking for external knowledge to help myself. And so I began to integrate the principles of goal setting. I began to challenge my mindset about money. What is money? How does it come? If I pick you and I put you in a country where you do not know any human being and take away your bank account and all your contacts and connections from you, would you survive in that nation? What I'm telling you did not happen overnight. It was a journey that I walked through. It was a journey that I walked through. And I would like to leave us with this. The journey of financial radiance can only happen for you when certain principles are at work in your life. The first principle is the principle of your faith and complete and absolute dependence on God. You cannot radiate financially if at the back of your mind, your confidence is in man, is in your skills, is in your abilities, is in that thing you think you can do very well. No. God wants to bring every radiant woman into that place where your utmost and complete dependence is on him. The word of God says, woe unto him that trusts in man. So I will ask you this question. Is your trust in your pockets, in your husband, in your network, or is your trust in the living God? God brought me to that place where I can confidently tell anyone, my confidence is in the living God. The second principle that will help you in this is the ministry of men. Let me tell you, you cannot succeed in this world, in this side of eternity, if the ministry of men is not at work in your life. I can tell you in literal terms, men, women that God used to shape me and mold me into the person that I am becoming today. I didn't just appear. I walked through certain terrain, dark terrains. And I know all the people that he brought into my path. So look around you right now. Who are the people that God has positioned? They may even be your neighbors. They may be the people sitting down with you in the office. One information from them. One, I want you to look at this book. It's enough to change your entire life. The Ministry of Men. And finally, the ministry of favor. Listen, you can work so much and so hard. You can work so much and so hard. But if favor is not at work in your life, and I'm speaking to you, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, I have Chinese friends that don't even go to church. They don't believe in, Africa is a spiritual continent. They don't be, when I'm talking about, our church attendant, they're just looking at me and smiling nicely. But you see, when the principle of favor is not at work in your life, you can work for 25 years, resign, and your children will wake up and ask you, Mommy, Daddy, but other people were working too. Why did you not do this? Or why did you not do that? That would never be our testimony by the mighty hand and mercy of God. So, what are to-dos for you right now? Because I like people to walk out of a meeting, and aside from the so many notes they've taken, they can just write in their diary. Number one, this is the first thing I'm going to do after now. If you do not have a financial coach, you need to get one. Please get one. If you do not have a mentor, please get one. And your mentor can be someone younger than you. It can also be someone older than you. In your office, stop doing, I like to stay on my own. Stop it. Or, oh, I'm black. All the people in my office are white. Hello. My dear, you are in this part of the world. You are in this side of eternity. Black, white, pink, purple. You have to put on that beautiful smile and say, hello, how are you today? Because that hello, how are you today is what can actually bring you into your place of abundance and radiance. What again are you going to do today or after you walk out of this meeting? You're going to look at your bank statements. Where are you financially? If you're in debt, please, you can send me a private message on LinkedIn or ask our convener, because I would like to walk you through that. I walked through debt, and I have a special anointing right now to bring anyone in debt out of debt. It's not bragging. I have the scars. I have the results. And so wherever you are in the world, I can walk you through it and out of it. You can't be in debt and radiate financially. That's the truth. Even though, whether, I don't know, there are certain concepts, good debt and bad debt. I don't know what that is. God has called us into a place where we are a blessing and where we are also blessed. So debt is a no-no. So if you have not looked at your bank statement in the past 8 months, now is the time for you to do that. If you do not have, what am I going to do again when I'm walking out of this place? I'm going to call my husband. I'm going to call my wife. And we're going to look through our financials. What plans do we have for our children? So I'll leave us now with this. And I trust that we have tools, and the Radiant Woman Network is a viable community that can help you, that can challenge you on this path. I would also like to leave us with this word of encouragement. Do not judge your future by your present circumstances or even your past. There is a bigger being that made you. And when you honor your future through the lens of God, that is one way you can honor your Creator. Thank you very much, everyone.
The Radiant Women Growth Network. Daughters of courage, architects of grace.
Monica.
Can I speak? Wow, 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 wow. I am so, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sandra Odukwe. This is so eye-opening. This is mind-blowing. It's so much enlightenment. I think this is what Bible says when it says that he will enlighten the mind of our understanding. And I have had so much understanding and I'm so blessed to be here. I honestly don't know what to say, people. I think Sandra deserves a standing ovation, but we are online. And like I will say, let's put a clap emoji for her because what she's giving us is virtually free consultation, free diagnosis of our problems. And she has come with anointing to break us free from poverty and to give us a huge mindset shift from a place where we are lacking and we are not radiating financially and in our careers, and giving us understanding that wherever we find ourselves, that's our career. Whether you are a homemaker, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're going through a 9-to-5 job, what you should be asking God is what He wants you to do at a particular time in a season. And even if you are at a place where you feel like you are not there yet, there is something to learn. Just as she has shared in her own story, when she was teaching the junior high school students, that she learned patience from there, which prepared her for the corporate world. This is so amazing and it's so beautiful. And I just loved her closing. I'm going to start from there and then go back. You know, the fact that we should not judge our future by our past or our present selves, but rather we should look at where we are and then take meaningful steps for financial radiance and then for career radiance as well. The principles she shared today are so mighty and so powerful. And she says that for us to be financially radiant and to be radiant in our career as well, we should engage faith and have complete dependence in God. Our confidence should be in God, even as we're seeking financial freedom, financial and career readiness. And it makes sense because earlier she did mention that even for us to be financially radiant, it is not for us. It is not show off, you know, to form and then to go bragging that this is how much we're worth. It's not about carrying the designer bags, but it is because even what God is entrusting us with financially and career-wise, it is for His purposes. The second principle she talked about was the ministry of men. And that goes to tie into what she said previously again about the fact that no man is an island. So we should be concerned about fostering and building meaningful connections, because you as a person, you cannot be radiant by yourself. You cannot achieve financial freedom and career radiance by yourself. You need the ministry of men. And she did mention there's a book titled The Ministry of Men, which she says we should look for and we should read. And honestly, I'm going to look for it. She also mentioned the ministry of favor, because then again, everybody's working, but we are not at the same levels. So if you want to be radiant financially and career-wise, you should engage the ministry of favor. And there's one thing that cuts across, that this whole conference we are having, the wealth of wisdom that is coming from these women who have scars, who have healed, who have risen above the challenges that life has thrown at them, such that on a platform like this, they are filling us up and they are nurturing us and they are giving us wisdom nuggets. It all ties down to the fact that we are doing this not for us, but for God, because He created us for His purposes. So if there's nothing I am taking or I have heard, it is that my radiance financially, however, it is for God. And she did say that the energy you carry is what you spread. And that is what radiance is actually about. So if you are carrying financial wisdom, you are going to radiate it. Wherever you appear, poverty is going to flee, because you are filled with godly wisdom to be able to detect that if resources are put here and there, it is going to liberate people for God's purposes. She mentioned that career radiance is the state of our recapping this whole session will not be complete without touching on the key components of career radiance, which I'm just going to go through as she shared with us. In case you missed it, you can jot it down. She said the first of the key components of career radiance is skill mastery. She mentioned networking. And then she reminded us that if you say you are an introvert and so you do not want to link up with people, you might want to see Onyeka or Keke immediately after this conference to deal with your trauma. Because whether you like it or not, there's something embedded inside. And until you connect, you're not going to get that. You're not going to ascend to the full capacity of your radiance that God has put into you. So we have to speak up. We have to foster meaningful connections that will grow and multiply us. Come on, somebody say hallelujah. Put it there. Connections that is going to multiply you, right? So next year by this time, I'm supposed to be more financially radiant and I'm supposed to multiply, right? If you agree with me, hallelujah in the comment section. I want to read that. Another key component of career mastery that she mentioned is personal branding. So beyond career, beyond finances, we are supposed to build our personal brand. And building a personal brand is crafting a professional image that reflects your strengths and aspirations. That is selling yourself and not selling yourself short. Selling yourself such that you are marketable in the marketplace. You are marketable in every corner. You are marketable in spaces where you meet people that matter, people that will hold your hand to the next step. If you don't have if you don't have a personal brand that is well crafted, how is that going to push you into your radiance? And she mentioned that you need a mentor. You need a mentor. That's what everybody's saying. You need a mentor. You cannot do this by yourself. And she did mention that. Let's connect with her. She's full of wisdom. She has been there. She has done it all. And she has come out with a badge to show that she has been through the mill. And by God's grace, she has accessed the resources that have helped her to get to where she is. And her doors are open to help you. And it's the same with all our speakers that have come before her. I think even if you're new and you're not part of the Radiant Women Growth Network, this is your time, your chance to join the network and to also bring other people to join the network. If you go on the Chinwema Essien website, and it is being shown on our screen, you will find the links to the handles on LinkedIn and other social media platforms, and even the websites of our speakers, all of them, we are supposed to connect with them. And I would mention to you that Oluchi is a 5-time author. Chiwema is a 2-time author. And all of our speakers have done amazing things. They have academies. You don't want this conference to end without you connecting with them. Key components of financial radiance is financial literacy, strategic planning. Strategic planning. When you have a plan, you know where your money goes. You know how to live your life. And then we also have to be generous. Put hallelujah in the comment section. At this point, we would make us, I'm sure there are a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. Every question you have jotted down, this is the time. Our panelists are all ready for you to ask your mind-boggling questions, the things that you didn't quite get clear. This is your time to ask your questions and have your questions answered. Don't go back with those questions that are bugging you. Ask them, and you will find wisdom on how to move on and to be radiant, to emerge as the radiant woman that you are. Thank you.
Of doubt, unsure of your purpose, and longing for a sense of fulfillment, you're not alone. Men and women struggle to find their voice, balance their passions, and rise above the noise of society's expectations. But what if you could break free from the shackles of limitation and unlock your true potential? Welcome to the Radiant Women Growth Network, a vibrant global community empowering women to unleash their full potential. Our mission is to inspire and equip women to rise above limitations, fulfill their purpose, and make a positive impact. In this supportive and inclusive space, women from diverse backgrounds connect, share experiences, and learn from each other. Whether seeking personal growth, work-life balance, or navigating life transitions, our community offers inspiring teachers and guardians in self-discovery, leadership, and empowerment, meaningful connections and supportive relationships, personal growth resources, webinars, workshops, and online courses, opportunities for collaboration and networking, and a safe space for vulnerability and feedback. Gather values of love, inclusiveness, godliness, growth, honesty, and teamwork. We foster a culture of respect, empathy, and encouragement. Join us today and shine with purpose and passion. Let's rise together and make a difference.
I think I can see a question. Okay, hi Esther. Okay, Esther is asking a question. She said, I am a student. Fantastic. And congratulations. I like students. And she said, how do I start my journey to financial and career radiance? Perfect. Okay, so 2 things, Esther. I don't know what your financial background is. I was sponsored by my family, my parents, at least my first degree. If that is your situation, your first journey to financial and career radiance is getting out of school with an excellent degree. Listen to the word I used. I didn't say good. I said excellent. If anyone told me when I was in the university the importance of graduating from a Nigerian university with a first class or with a 2-1, I would have studied harder. Yes. So if you're in Nigeria and you're asking this question, Esther, and your family is sponsoring your education, you don't have money problems. It is very important that you focus on getting out of school with a first class and with or a 2-1. Now, what this is going to do for you is that it's going to put you ahead. You see, it's going to put you ahead when you actually get into the job market. That's one. Secondly, while you are in school, Esther, endeavor to be in leadership positions in your fellowship, in your faculty. Make friends with make sure that you are known. You can't be a radiant woman and you are an introvert, just waking up every morning, going for lectures and going back to the hostel. No, you can't do that. And if you don't even have a LinkedIn profile, now is the time for you to go and get a LinkedIn profile. Start telling people what you are learning in school. Position yourself in school as a student, as a problem solver. There is a 20-year-old, I think he's 22 now. What's his name? Emmanuel Onjuka. He's on LinkedIn. He calls himself Tony Elumelu's boy. Let me tell you, once that boy comes out from the university, he already has a job. You see, LinkedIn is a professional platform that you can leverage on as a student to showcase your interest. Don't do introverts in the university. Now, if there are money problems, I'm the one sponsoring myself, I'm even the one sponsoring my siblings in school, the Lord is your help. But you see, I don't want you to live your life in isolation. Now is the time for you to embrace communities like this. Now is the time for you to leverage the network that communities like this produce. There are so many in our midst. People who have done, my boss, when he tells me how he sponsored himself through school, I look at him, I'm like, how did you do it? I don't have that grace. So that's the reason why I'm saying, if there are money problems, embrace community like the Radiant Women Network. I want you to begin to network with entrepreneurs. You can be a student and have a side business that you do in the hostel while focusing on your education. You see. So that's, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's, I'll just leave other speakers to also add some wisdom to that. Thank you very much.
There's a question for Onyi. And it says, speaker who talked about trauma. She said childhood trauma, I believe. What about the trauma you're going through as an adult? How do you handle that?
Okay, it depends. Like I said, there are different types of trauma. And the trauma you can go through as an adult can be just acute trauma. And that happens when maybe you are involved in an accident or a natural disaster like flood or, fire incident, or you witness a shooting incident, right? That's the trauma you can go through uh, as an adult. But the thing is that as as an adult who has, had a childhood trauma, you're not going through that. The thing is that you are just reliving. You are reliving what you went through in the past. Okay, so I don't understand. If you can give instances of the trauma you're going through, then I can know where to, do and how to address it. But if you mean maybe the effects of the childhood trauma that you're now seeing it as an adult, then what you have to do is to go on your healing journey, right? Like I said, heal that inner child. It's your inner child that's speaking. It's your inner child that's bringing up those things that you have gone through, that you're having an effect now, and you are acting based on the memories you have in your subconscious mind. That's what's playing out in your adulthood. So if you're easily, if you find yourself getting angry easily, or suppressing your anger, or fleeing, avoiding people, these are signs that that your inner child is going through some things, that it needs healing, pointing out to something, tugging at you, telling you, I am still here. You've not really handled what happened in the past. So that's it.
Seems the next question is for Sandra. And it says, how do you know what kind of person you'd be when you have money, when you don't have money yet?
Sorry, please, can you take that again, ma?
Okay. Monica, do you want to, you and Sandra? Yeah, thank you.
I'm actually, can you hear me?
So the question is, how
Okay.
do you know what kind of person you'd be when you have money, when you don't have it yet? So you don't have it yet now. So how do you know what kind of person you would be when the money comes?
Okay, I think that's what I heard that made me laugh. So, it's like somebody wants to turn me to a soothsayer. Okay. Okay. So, to be very honest, the only person that knows you and I better than we know ourselves is God. But let me break down question, because I think I'm seeing through what the person actually wants to know. You will be to ask that question, you might ask that kind of question if you do not understand who you are right now. And I also like to say that every single that you know, you have heard right from when this conference started, even before this conference started, it's going to be tested in your journey. Go through. And the funny part is, I don't know, when I look back right now, I always wonder why nobody told me these things. Nobody told me that. You see all those scriptures you're quoting, it's going to be tested through, life is going to test your knowledge of certain things, you see. So right now you may be, I remember I had I had a customer make an advance at me while I was in that, valley of shadow of death season. I had a customer make an advance at me. And the truth of the matter is that was an opportunity for my problems to be solved. And nobody would have come to crucify me on my actions. And yet, I had the power of choice at that time. So, like I said, I'm not going to be turned into a soothsayer that is asking this question. That you have the power of choice. And your power of choice, the choices you make is actually what defines you. Yes, the choices you make is actually what truly, when you are broke, don't have any money, and when you have money. Yes. Sometimes when some of my friends, now that I don't have, but I have $1 million, I don't know, can you hear me? Someone said to me that I have $1 million. I'm not sure that I can pay it of it. Let me tell you what I responded to the person. I told the person, God is not going to wait for you to get $1 million because he already knows that you can't pay a tithe of 100 naira. So he's not going to wait. You see, that's what I mean by the power of what? Choice. That's everything you know, you have been taught, you have been heard, you are tested through these things. And when test comes to you, the choices you are making, even as I'm speaking to you right now, are the very definitions of who you are. So instead of you to wonder to know who I'm going to be when I have money, the right question to ask yourself is, who am I right now that I'm broke? You see, what are the choices I'm making? Okay, let me not say who am I, so that you will not say these people have come with their spiritual jargon. No, that's not what I want you to. What I want to actually say is this: what are the choices that you're making right now that you think you are broke? I don't think you are broke. I don't think you are. For you to ask this question, I don't think anybody here is broke. We are not broke. What I'm saying is, look at the choices that you're making. In 2024, that's why I gave, to-do lists after this conference. In 2024, if you have not sat with your financial advisor in 2024, that's a choice you're making. Because when your account begins to hit in billions of dollars, pounds, euro, you will not sit down with a financial advisor.
Not alone. Men and women struggle to find their voice, balance their passions, and rise above the noise of society's expectations. But what if you could break free from the shackles of limitation and unlock your true potential? Welcome to the Radiant Women Growth Network, a vibrant global community empowering women to unleash their full potential. Our mission is to inspire and equip women to rise above limitations, fulfill their purpose, and make a positive impact. In this supportive and inclusive space, women from diverse backgrounds connect, share experiences, and learn from each other. Whether seeking personal growth, work-life balance, or navigating life transitions, our community offers inspiring teachers and guardians on self-discovery, leadership, and empowerment, meaningful connections and supportive relationships, personal growth resources, webinars, workshops, and online courses, opportunities for collaboration and networking, and a safe space for vulnerability and feedback. Guided by values of love, inclusiveness, godliness, growth, honesty, and teamwork, we foster a culture of respect, empathy, and encouragement. Join us today and shine with purpose and passion. Let's rise together and make a difference. Have you ever felt like drowning in self-doubt, unsure of your purpose, and longing for a sense of fulfillment? You're not alone. Men and women struggle to find their voice, balance their passions, and rise above the noise of society's expectations. But what if you could break free from the shackles of limitation and unlock your true potential? Welcome to the Radiant Women Growth Network, a vibrant global community empowering women to unleash their full potential. Our mission is to inspire and equip women to rise above limitations, fulfill their purpose, and make a positive impact. In this supportive and inclusive space, women from diverse backgrounds connect, share experiences, and learn from each other. Whether seeking personal growth, work-life balance, or navigating life transitions, our community offers inspiring teachings and guidance on self-discovery, leadership, and empowerment, meaningful connections and supportive relationships, personal growth resources, webinars, workshops, and online courses, opportunities for collaboration and networking, and a safe space for vulnerability and feedback. Guided by values of love, inclusiveness, godliness, growth, honesty, and teamwork, we foster a culture of respect, empathy, and encouragement. Join us today and shine with purpose and passion. Let's rise together and make a difference.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for that break in transmission. We were doing the question and answer time, and we'll continue from where we stopped. We lost some of the questions, but luckily we have a screenshot, so we'll start from the old questions and then we'll catch up with the ones we are seeing right now. Okay. So one of the questions was from Unique Love. Unique Love asked a question. She says, please, ma, as regards to purpose and finding yourself, please, what steps should I take, especially not knowing who you are or what you are even capable of doing?
It's good to see your beautiful faces once again today. And the person that asked this question, I don't know if you were around yesterday, because there were some steps, some strategic steps that we shared yesterday. The thing about finding purpose and discovering yourself is not someone will just do at a snap of a finger. It is a journey. Discovering your purpose stems from discovering yourself. Self-discovery is discover your purpose. The first thing you may want to do to take a step in self-discovery is to start finding your uniqueness. Start finding your uniqueness. What are your strengths? What are your inherent gifts? Start discovering things that are so unique to yourself. Remember, we said that before you can identify who you are, that is self-identity, you must know your source. Then start answering the questions we asked yesterday. Who are you? That is your identity. Unfortunately, you cannot answer this question if you don't know your source. And knowing your source is beyond saying God is my source. If you know your source as God, but you don't know the characteristics of God, it means that you don't know you don't God, you will not know what is, because God has a DNA to run through his children. When you know who God is, his characteristics, his capabilities, what he can do and what he cannot do, you will know exactly who you are, what you can do and what you cannot do. There is one thing God cannot do, and that is lying. He can never lie. All his words are A and amen. He said that heaven and earth shall pass away, but not even any atom of his word can go without fulfilling his promises. Like when you see some things, you panic, you are panicking on certain things because you don't know the right word that fits such situation. So the first step you may want to take is to start embarking on your self-discovery, which involves discovering things that are unique to you. Those things that stand you out from the crowd. Talking about your strengths, talking about your talents, talking about your potential. Start discovering those things. Then start dipping yourself on mindfulness. Mindful meditations. Always ensure that you have quiet time with God. When you are having mindful meditations, you tend to discover who God is. Do not allow people to describe who God is to you. Discover a personal relationship. When you have a personal relationship with God, He will show you the secret and mighty things that you never knew exist. And these secret and mighty things happen at the altar of, that personal relationship. You may want edge in having a conversation or a journey with a purpose coach. You may want to engage in a journey with a mentor. You can discover yourself, discover your strengths, discover your inherent gifts, and be able to harmonize all your discoveries to create a path that leads to purposeful living. I hope this answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oluchi. The next question was from Sarah. And Sarah asked, how do one handle mental health issues as a student? And she says, I battle with acceptance around people. I feel that people don't like me. I also battle with overthinking and the feeling of insufficiency. Shall I take that again, or it's fine?
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Sarah, remember when I spoke about the core beliefs we form, while going through the trauma. So the thing is that you form that belief of that people don't like you, or you overthink people's action. And this happened, maybe you grew up in an environment where your parents are perfectionists, right? Or you experienced emotional neglect from them. So the thing is that it's just you going through your healing journey. That's what it is, to change your mindset, to change your belief system. That's what it is. So, but if you continue like that, it will still affect you no matter what. Rather, what you will do is you turn into a people pleaser, just for them to like you, or you become anxious. You find that you have this anxiety that something bad is about to happen, right? So if you don't deal with it, then it will still go. It will affect you. So what you can do is to embark on your healing journey, right? Just embark on your healing journey, and then we take it up from there. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, just to add a bit to what Onyi has said in response to that question, what I think is happening here is a lot of limitations, has projected itself into your life from the different experiences that you must have had over time. Link it up to all the childhood experiences, especially the adverse ones. And sometimes it's not basically from what you did not have, but sometimes from what you have, but you didn't get enough of it. So probably some problems with parenting while you were growing up. So most times when we trace all of these problems, we can actually find them from our child. And what I can say to you is that you can rise above all of these limitations. You can start a journey where you can reframe your mind You can retrain your brain to begin to give you what you want, to begin to visualize the kind of person that you want to see. So like Oyin said, people pleasing is what will begin to happen. And this is a sign of low self-esteem in itself. Your self-esteem has been eroded so much that you now feel unworthy, you feel unlovable, you have this feeling of helplessness. So I think, I don't think, but I will say to you that I have a solution. And that if you stay till the end of this conference, we will be announcing what that solution is. This is a topic that I have dealt with it together to make things easy for people who are going through things like this. So stay through till the end and you will find that tool that will help you truly rise above these limitations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rema. We are very, very grateful. The question was from Aja Abigail. Abigail says, please reach out to a well-known or influential mentor. In other words, how do I go about mentorship?
Okay, can I say something about that briefly? So, Abigail, yes, you want to be mentored by someone who has a great reputation. All right. So what it is you can be mentored from a distance, actually. You don't have to have a physical connection with someone to mentor you. There are people that I see as mentors and I have never met them in person, and I may not even ever meet them in person because they are in different parts of the world. But how do I connect with these people? I follow them on their social media handles. I read a lot from them. I subscribe to their email listing, to their newsletters. I get newsletters from them and I read up-to-date information about what they have, what new thing they have to offer. I read their books, I buy their books and I read their books. So when you read the books of a mentor or someone that you look up to, that you want mentorship from, you can get so much value from their books without even getting in touch with them physically. Okay? So you can also be mentored by someone with a great reputation by signing up for their conferences. When they are hosting webinars, they are hosting events. That is a way to draw yourself closer to them. So when the time comes for you to, or when you have the opportunity to connect with them physically, maybe through sending an email, you have already built a connection already. So it's not like you don't know anything about them, you have not read any of their books, you have not attended any of their webinars, and you just want them to mentor you. That would be difficult. But if you're sending an email to them and saying, or even have access to them on Twitter or LinkedIn, and you're sending a direct message to say, I attended your course, or I attended this program, from you on XYZ date, and this and that. It's easy for this person of high reputation to know, oh my God, this person has been following me. All of my mentors, all of my coaches, I make sure I buy their materials. I have their books, both those that I've connected with physically and those that I am yet to connect with. And that is how I have been able to, go about that. So sometimes they offer mentorship programs, and most of us that have spoken here do offer mentorship programs from time to time, coaching programs from time to time. So and the best way to know it is make sure you are following any of us here if you want to get more information about the things that we do to continue this journey of your emergence into radiance. I hope I'm able to answer that question. Thank you.
To add to what Chinwema just said, thank you so much for that elaborate answer. And that is what it is about mentorship. So to add to it, in the journey of radiance and impact, if you really want to make an impact in this world, if you want to be great, if you want to radiate your light, be ready for sacrifices. There are people that they want to have it all, even at the comfort of their house, without lifting a finger, without spending a dime. That is a fat lie, a very big one. If you really want to stand out from the crowd, be ready for sacrifices. I was having a conversation with someone recently. I said that if I were to say the biggest investment I've ever made in life is spending on myself, investing on. So I can't calculate. When it comes to personal development, don't even think it, because you need it from all angles. Mentorship, the highest person you can ever invest in and be sure of getting return on your investment is yourself. Don't be unapologetic about it. Be unapologetic on spending on yourself. So if you really want to step out from your comfort zone and get it right in life, be ready for sacrifice. And that sacrifice is financial sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. She said, thank you, ma'am. Sandra would be. Yeah. Answered my question. Not sure about that bit. I think the other part is clear. So, yes. Connect on LinkedIn. She wants to know how to connect. She's a writer and she's willing to learn social media management as well.
Okay. Is Sandra taking?
Yes, Sandra, I can hear you.
I hear your voice. Well, you stopped talking.
Okay. I don't know if we can hear me. I think we can connect on LinkedIn, and if she's in the community as well, I can actually reach out to her directly. Okay. Yes, if she's in the community, I can reach directly. Question. Yeah, it's something I can do.
Okay, thank you very much, Sandra. And to add to that, we have this will be in the group. Even their links will also be pinned. Our media crew will pin their links so that you can link up with them. Is very, very important. Thank you very much.
I think we can hold on. It seems the pin is, I don't know. Can everybody, is it working? Let's hold on.
Yes, it's working. It's working at my own end.
Then maybe yours is delayed.
Okay, I think I've just refreshed and it looks like we are back. Okay, I think I've just refreshed. And
thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. For anybody that wants to connect, we have time, Alta, Chiwona is a two-time. Very soon we'll be what's done so far. Many of our people that are willing to be paid team sites and all their social media. Sandra, can you mute? Sorry. Moving on. Nkiru asked the question, and she said, for someone with little financial literacy, how do we turn financial plans for our turn begin to make financial plans for children? Who is ready to take this?
If Sandra is still here, financial, I'll go to her.
I think Sandra is off at the moment. Sandra is off at the moment. She would be the most appropriate person to answer this. So we'll just move on to the next one. Whenever she comes on, then we'll take that question. So the next question says, I'll move on to what is not financial. Somebody asked on the WhatsApp group, the person says, how can you grow your social network outside your immediate space? Especially when in your current environment, many people seem to have this beef or envy towards you. Someone asked on WhatsApp, how can you grow your social network outside your immediate space, especially when in your current environment, many people seem to have this beef, envy towards you? Who will do as the honors?
I wish I can see the person that asked these questions. I would like to also ask her some questions that will also inform the best response to give her. When it comes to social network, the first advice I always give anybody is to, first of all, create your core value. Ensure you understand your personal value so that you can attract who aligns with your personal value. If you have a personal value and you set out for social network, you will find out that you'll be very intentional on the kind of person you let into your space. You know, most times why people say I've been beaten, my fingers have been burnt by friends is because they are not intentional about friendship. Anybody that comes their way and say, oh, you're beautiful, this person is my bestie. Oh, I like your hair, this person is my bestie. You know, anybody that say anything good, because you are not and at esteem that is a no-no, is a no-go area for me. So you may want to craft your personal value and know the things that you stand for, so that before you go into any relationship at all, they will be at the forefront to direct you. And don't allow friends to pick you. What do I mean by this? Be the one to choose your friends. Even when someone is coming closer to you, you can still be people's friends, but they are very far from you. But if you are bringing someone very close to you, what it means is that, see, my values align with what I'm seeing in this person. And what it means is that I am the one who is choosing this person, bringing this person closer, because I can see the value that aligns with me. I am choosing this person as friends. So do not choose anybody, no matter how flashy or whatever they appear at that by creating your core value so that you can attract your like. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. It's take the question on the financials again. And the question says, that's by Inkiru. Inkiru says, for someone with little financial literacy, how do we, in the most basic term, begin to make financial plans for our children?
Okay. Okay, can we hear me? Because I'm struggling with some things
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Can hear you.
For this question, in the most basic and simple terms, helping you to be with you starting right now to help your children know how you make money. How do you make money? What do you do? So my children know where I work and they know where their father works. And we explain to them what we do in our various jobs. They know how much we earn. Yes, they do. Especially the first one, because he will be 8. They know how much we know what we do with our money. So no matter, you need to give your children an upfront and honest description of what you do to make money, how you do it in literal terms. If you have to take your children to your workplace, take them to your workplace. If you need to, wherever it is that you exchange value, to let them have a first-hand feel of what you do. So sometimes I'm crafting an email to the director or my MD. I craft an email and I just craft the email and I save a draft on my personal laptop. When I come home, I call my son and I just tell him, come and look at the email I want to send to my MD. You see, and I explain what, the tone. There is a way to communicate with certain kinds of executives. So I explained that to him as well. When I wanted to teach him customer service, which was something I did in the bank for several years, I took them to a branch of the bank and made them sit down in a place where they could observe how customer service specialists or representatives were attending to customers, how they pick up phones, how they give customers forms, and all of that. So in the most simplest way, begin from now to help your children have a first-hand and a first-class understanding of how you make money. My parents did not, I had all my needs met growing up. So I really did not work and how they made money, what they made, And so when I was in the university, I kind of struggled when people talked about entrepreneur. Oh my goodness, you see. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that is something that's something I currently do. What I would recommend to any parent who wants to intentionally put their children on the path of financial literacy. And then I would also recommend Money Africa. I don't know if you know Money Africa. They have a provision. So you can look there.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Thank you very much. We are really, really grateful. For lack of time, for every other question that is still online, I think I see 2 more questions that we have not handled yet. Please reach out on the WhatsApp group and then also check the bios of our speakers, link up with them, connect with them, and then they will do justice to all these questions. In the meantime, for our closing, we are having the all-time our amazing Chiwema. She's going to give us the closing, and her closing remark is dubbed Poised to Emerge. Please be and welcome her as she closes this conference. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I hope we have had an amazing time so far. I don't know about you, but please let me know what it has been for you. How has experience been for you in the last 2 days? Let us know in the comment. How has it been? Just describe it in one word, how it has been. Just one word, how it has been. Honestly, I know I'm the convener, right? But I have been learning myself. I have been learning so much from all the speakers, even from the moderators. I have learned so much. And if you have stayed until now, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking that step to tell yourself that you would invest time into your personal growth and development. Thank you for taking that, that's move, that step, because it's usually that one big step that is a problem for some people. And a lot of times it might be trauma, it might be different things that's holding people back. It might be financial. Everything that we've touched on in this conference has been my experience. So just to let you know that I've not always been like this. By the time you get closer and you get to know a little more about me, you will know what my background has been, or you will know what my background was like. So if I can move from that place where I wasn't sure of my identity to a place where I have been able to uncover my identity, to a place where I've been able to and refine them and develop them to the point that I can use them to speak to you today, to write to you and use all the things, that the gifts that God has endowed me with to do what I'm doing today. It is a proof that you can do just the same. I have also had to heal from childhood trauma. So don't see any of us here and think, oh, these women all look, this is how they've always been. No, it's been a journey of intentionality. Like I always say, you have to be the one to motivate yourself. So if you're waiting for anybody to come and, push you and motivate you, nobody is coming, my darling. Nobody is coming to push you. So in this life, you have to push yourself. So this is what this conference is about. I believe that we have been able, with the time that is available to us to do this, to move you, to push you from that place of inertia where you are, where you were not sure if you should attend this conference or not. I believe that the experience you have had has pushed you, has taught you how to self-motivate, that if these women who are speaking on this conference can do this, that means you have found the inspiration to believe in yourself that you can do just the same. All right. So for lack of time, I am just going to dive into the closing session. I would not bring the conference together and just leave you hanging after the conference. No, because this is the experience so many people have. They attend conferences, and after the conference, everybody just goes away. You don't know what to do for you to continue to live that life that you've been exposed to, that is possible by that conference. So this is what I'm going to be running through with you as I take you on a closing session with a topic that I have tagged Poised to Emerge. So if I'm looking at my screen because I have made some notes, okay? Poised to emerge. What does this poised mean? In fact, poise is a word that I love so much. I just love the way it sounds. I love the vibes that it gives. Okay. So poise, when I look through my dictionary, means ready to move, prepared and waiting for something to happen. You know, the way the athletes who even watched the Olympics that just ended, right? If you watch the athletes that were running the races, now they get to the point where they start, where they are ready and they are set and just waiting for the whistle to be blown for them to take off. That is what to be poised means. We have tried our very best in this conference to get you to that point where you are saying, you know what, I have been activated. I have been, maybe if you started moving before and you are stuck somewhere. This conference, I believe, has been able to catalyze you, move you a little bit, accelerate that motion for you so that you don't stay stuck anymore. Enough of being stuck, enough of hiding yourself under the bushel. It is time for you to emerge, to come out, to bring out that radiance that God has put on your inside, right? To poise means you are ready to take off. It means that you are ready, you're on the verge for that beauty and highest charismatic version of yourself to truly emerge. That is what this word means. It means a readiness for action. You are ready. And what is the mark of this? You know, you get to a point where you are now balanced. You are now at an equilibrium. You're asking questions before, but now you're gaining some clarity. You're knowing, okay, this has been what I've been dealing with. This is what has been holding me back. Now I know that there is someone that I can reach out to. Like I know someone who has given me financial advice, and she's having a WhatsApp group where something is going to be happening that can continue to propel me on this journey of personal self-development. Because this is what this is about. Anyone else, it is about you. One thing I know about women is when a woman is liberated, everyone else around her will feel the impact. The world at large feels the impact of a liberated woman. Because you've been hiding for so long. And I believe that this conference has been able to open that thing, that container that you've been closing. It's opened it up to you so that you can begin to see. And when you get to that point, you're ready for a new you to be birthed. Because one thing about me is professionally, I am a midwife. But I know when I get my purpose, that beyond being a professional midwife that is registered in Nigeria, I am also a purpose midwife. I help people birth their purpose. I help women discover themselves. That is what I do because that has really, really helped me. And you get to that place where you are stable in yourself, where you have a balance of character. You now know yourself. You now know your source, that the person that you're connected to. You now know who you'll be listening to and not the opinion of people, because people's opinion are cheap. What does the God who created you say about this? That is that point where you know that you are ready. The character that gives you power and that you speak confidently without being afraid. You get to a point where you are full of courage and confidence because you know the DNA body. Get to that point where you know that you're a woman who carries yourself with gentleness, with humility, but at the same you are confident. You get to a point where you are both able, when you have gained mass identity that people give to you. It's no longer the pre-written societal expectations that people want you to live by. You're now a woman self-aware. That is what I'm talking about. I will tell you again about the word emergence. What does it mean to emerge? It is the process of becoming visible after being concealed. You have been concealed for a long time. The light that you carry has been concealed for a long time. There are so many women out there who are waiting for you to shine your light. Just as so many women who have gone ahead of me shine their own light on my path. That is the same thing that I'm replicating. And if every one of us who is under the sound of my voice this evening, or if any one of us who have been in this conference from yesterday up to today wants to do the same thing, you have to stay connected to that thing, that light source. You have to stay connected. Now, it is the process of prominence and relevance. As I say it again, you're not a biological accident. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you know who your mother or your father is. The fact that is important is that God allows that energetic field be firm and the egg that came to whenever it did, and you were born. That is what is important. If you're here, God made you to be here. And all you have to do in your lifetime is to ensure that you fulfill his we've been talking about. I'll tell you something. Okay, I'll just go on. Sorry. I thought I was hearing another voice. Okay, so I like to use nature. I like to apply the lesson I learned from nature so much to my life. It has to do whether trees or plants, animals or insects. I learn from all of these things because it shows there's so from the animal kingdom. All right. Sorry about that technical glitch. We are back and thank you for staying on. So I was talking about, the butterfly. Remember I stopped at talking about that the butterfly long lifespan because it tends to live, say, maximum or two, right? But where I want us to draw lessons from, the butterfly goes through before it emerges into that beautiful insect that we see, that we all admire, the beautiful colors on the wings. Now, I talked about the fact that it goes through the stage called metamorphosis, and that in Greek, that means transformation or change in shape. That's where I stopped. So I'll take us through the 4 stages in the life cycle of a butterfly because I'm trying to draw lessons from it. Okay, so the first stage is the egg. So at this stage, there is an adult female butterfly that just finds any plants that he likes, or maybe on the branch of a tree or anywhere, and he just lays so many eggs. So he lays a lot of eggs, and the idea is, okay, he lays many so that some will survive and some may not survive. So all the eggs do take some time, and after a while, these eggs, some of them survive long enough to mature into the butterfly, do not. So that's the first. So take us to the second stage. This stage is called the caterpillar stage. The caterpillar, and it's also known as the feeding stage. So at this stage, that egg matures into what they call a larva. I know some of us studied biology, so I'm taking us back to our secondary school days, right? So a caterpillar. And at this stage, it is actually called the hungry but caterpillar. Why? Because it just eats and eats and eats and eats and grows and grows and grows until it splits. Like grow and get so big until it bursts, and it can shed its skin at maybe about 4 or 5 times. And at this time, the food that this larva or the caterpillar eats at this stage is stored and is used later as an adult. The lesson I want us to draw from here, the fact that us are at this stage with a lot of things. We are taking a lot of things into ourselves, right? Experiences, learnings, developing ourselves, whatever it is that we are exposing ourselves to. through the embodies of our soul, of our spirit, through our eyes, our ears, our minds, our hearts, all of them culminates, all of them will be a sum total of who we eventually become. What we do with all of these things that we consume would interpret into who we would later eventually become. If you're feeding yourself with positivity, you're feeding yourself with the right food, the right nutrients, definitely you would turn out to be, you would emerge into beautiful version of yourself. But if all you do now is consume the things that your body doesn't need, definitely you know the direction that that is going to take us. So at this point, the caterpillar grows so much. It says, when I did the research, it says it grows about 100 times the size of the egg that was. And this stage, now the lesson here is that this stage is believed to be the longest and the slowest stage in the life cycle of a butterfly. So sometimes you might find yourself in this place where you feel, it's taking too long. Where will I get to this place that I want to be? Patience is a virtue, provided you are standing on the right ladder. Provided you're perched on the right fence. Because sometimes our ladders might be leaning on the wrong wall. So you keep climbing that ladder, and by the time you get to the top rung of that ladder, you realize, oh my God, this ladder has been leaning on is not taking me to the right place where I want to be. So these are the things that you should take home. Is this ladder that climbing, is it leaning on the right wall? All right. So this is believed to be the slowest. So you might be in the caterpillar phase of your life. Don't be in a hurry to just be out there doing things. Allow yourself to nurture the growth and the process that you're going through. All right, so I'll quickly go to the third stage called the pupa stage. And the pupa stage is called the transition stage. At this stage, the caterpillar has grown enough. It now looks for somewhere where it now changes itself for the last time. And there it looks for a place. It doesn't just metamorphose anywhere. This lesson here is also telling us that you need to find the right space for yourself. Be self-aware enough to find the right space for yourself. Usually I was sharing with a friend this morning, I said, when people exit my community, I'm not really thrown off when it's one or two people, because you might be in a place that is not the right place for you. You might just see a WhatsApp thing shared, link shared somewhere, and you click on it and join. If you find out that where you are is not the right place for you, it doesn't matter if anybody is going to be offended. If you want to explain yourself, that is okay by you. But if not, you can exist nicely, respectfully, and pitch yourself. Some of us are in circles where we shouldn't be. Circles are draining us of our positive energy every day. But because of low self-esteem, because of limitations of fear, what would they say? What would people say? You stay stuck in the wrong place. Edit your circle. Find the right place for yourself. Okay? You see, at this stage, when this caterpillar, the pupa stage, where it's about to transition, is about to emerge into that beautiful insect that you see, that you and I see and appreciate the beautiful colors on its wings. This stage, some of them, I won't go into details because of time. I know we already know this, but I'm just trying to draw lessons from it, like I've said. Now, in this stage, the butterfly, the pupa now, just stays in, some of them would create a cocoon of silk, or some of them would create what biologically is called the cream, and inside it, it just stays a tree, or to that branch where it is. At this stage, people don't butterfly happening. Inside what's going on inside of that, it doesn't change. But you know what? A tremendous change is going on inside of this book. It is using all the food that it has eaten during the caterpillar stage, where it was just eating and eating. Is using all that it has consumed at that stage to form its wings, to form its legs, the eyes it will use to see, the mouth parts and every part of the body. That from the outside, it doesn't look like anything is happening. But right inside, something tremendous, like I said, is going on inside of this pupa, inside of this pupa. So you see, transition, for you to truly emerge, there has to be a shift. Yourself. You might be showing up for things you have not really gotten to the stage that some people are, but be patient. Just make sure that you're doing something to transform yourself. The years when I was paying for courses, was attending classes, when sometimes I would sit up in coaching sessions for hours till my bum would even hurt. Those days, nobody saw me. The same thing Sandra was sharing, everyone has shared. When Oyin was going through her own process, when Sandra, Monica, and Oluchi, they were going through their whole process, when Christine was going through her own process, nobody will see you. People wonder how, they look at the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But I know that something is changing within you. You are transforming. You are going through a transition stage. Stay there and trust the stock. Know when it's time for you to emerge, just like the butterfly. And then that takes us to at this stage, the butterfly has finished going through the transition process. It now has the capacity to break out of the cocoon, to break that chrysalis along. All right, hold firm the transition process. Trust process. Nobody that you see human being. Look at the development of ourselves as human beings. God didn't throw us as adults into the world. He knew that we had to go through processes. The womb of a woman, and gradually there was a stage, there were several stages that egg and sperm that fertilized had to go through for a baby to be formed before that baby was born into the world. Trust the process. There is a process, and everyone that wants to stay radiant has to go through a process. I hope that we learn from this life cycle that every phase of the cycle is for a purpose. Every season of your life is for a purpose, and it is important that we understand it. You might be at the stage where it looks like nothing is happening, but if you are on the right track, you will soon emerge. You will soon go through your feeding stage. You will soon go through your transition stage and then truly emerge. And that is what I believe this conference has done for you. If you're not there yet, don't flog yourself. Just stay on the process. Trust it and make sure that you apply all that works today. So quickly, I would run before we close. In the next few minutes, I would show us 10 qualities or 10 traits that you should possess for you to stay radiant. So if this conference has helped you to get to the point where you have emerged, or you're on the verge of your emergence, you have work to do. Don't listen to all that we've shared here today and just dust your notes under your pillows. This conference will be available for replay in the next couple of days or about 24 hours or so. My team will communicate that to us. Make sure you prioritize catching a replay of this conference when it is still free, because after now, it will no longer be available for free. Okay? 10 qualities that you need to stay radiant. Don't just come to this conference and go away and go back to your old self. No, don't return to your old self. I don't think conference has ignited something about you to continue to be this radiance we emerged into. And now I will take us through these 10 essential behaviors. Let me put it simple. Maybe I'm speaking politics, traits. Let me take us through this 10 things for us to bear in mind. Okay? Now, the first thing I have on my list here is a strong sense of self-love. I didn't say self-love. I say a strong sense of self-love. Because one thing that a lot of us as women have been lied to about is that we just keep pouring by virtue of how God. We keep pouring into people in virtue, in value, in love, in care. And then the only one person that we forget about is ourselves. I want you to go back today and hear my voice. Bring it in your ear. Bring it in your ears, sorry. Self-love is the foundation upon which the next 9 traits that I will be telling you about is built. That is the foundation of it all. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. You have to love yourself enough to be able to love other people. You have to treat yourself with the same kindness that you are requiring or seeking for in other people, right? It is the way that you show the world yourself. That is how the world would treat you. I want you to know that. Show yourself some kindness. And the truth and calm. When you love yourself, something about you changes. Even when you're going through stress, it's difficult for people to tell because you love yourself enough. In fact, we will be sharing later at the end of this conference. I have a book, and that book, I was speaking, and also at the same time when Sandra was speaking, none of us knew what anybody was going to be talking about on this conference. Everything just synced into each other. Everything we spoke about just connected with each other. Oluchi said when she was speaking that the spirit indeed is one. And I listened to them, I'm like, did they read my book? Did they even read my notes? Yes. It's important that you prioritize loving yourself. If you've not been doing that, take that away from this conference. I don't mean not love other people, but the truth is that the same love that you give yourself is where you will find the capacity to truly and genuinely love other people. I'll go to the second thing, authenticity. That is the second thing I have. You as a radiant woman, in this fast-paced world of technology, AI, social media, glitz and glance and glow and all the paparazzi going on, the definition of beauty has just been eroded so much. So much so that a lot of women are wishing they were other people. They are wishing that they are like the AI, then the AI defined beauty that they see on social media. Now, let me tell you something. A radiant woman knows the difference. She knows the difference between natural inner beauty and all of those external beauty that will fade away. Don't get me wrong. It is all right to look beautiful. It is all right to look good, but inner beauty will always trump outward beauty. It is the inner beauty that would outlive the external beauty. Inner beauty will not fade away. External beauty one day will grow old, and smile to be. But now, having children, growing older, things. So if you're a young lady today, nurture your real essence, and that is the inner part of it. Embrace your perfect perfections, as they call it. Don't seek to compare yourself with anybody. Don't seek to embrace or accept other people's definition of beauty. What has your creator defined beauty as? Show up in the world as your authentic self. Don't be afraid. I remember the question asked about, feeling like people don't like you. The truth is that not everybody will like you. What we are doing here, all of the speakers who have spoken, there'll still be some people who say, these women, they're just doing their own thing. That is what the world is like. Everybody would not like you, but you have to like yourself first. You have to love yourself first. Then, looking what's to work on yourself. If there are areas that you know, okay, I need to fine tune this area. There's nobody who is perfect. We all have our areas of strength and we have our areas of differences or weaknesses, as some people call it. The most important thing is when you identify who you would areas that you truly need to work on. But that does not mean that you would not listen to constructive criticism. You need to, that is why it's important for you to have a circle where you have people who will tell you the truth in your face and you will not be offended. And you also can tell them the truth and they will not be offended, because you are all looking out for each other. You are all looking out for the best of each other. Show up without mask. Show up without filters. That's not me saying don't put on makeup, because I have a little on, as you can see. But show up in the world not disguising yourself as who you are not. Those who will accept you for who you truly are, they are there. Don't put up a facade of who you are not to impress people. Be your genuine self. Be your true self, the way God has made you. Work on your weaknesses. Don't hide them. Don't try and appear, as someone that you're not. Be authentic. Show up in the world as your authentic, real self. Number 3, prioritize and practice self-care. This is one of the attitudes. This is one of the traits. Essential traits that a radiant woman is. Be intentional about how you take care of yourself. Onyi mentioned that as one of the solutions to dealing with trauma. If you don't prioritize caring for yourself, and when we say self-care, it's not about the soaps, yes, that be part of it. Sometimes it might just be you retreating into yourself, having a me time. Create that 5 minutes, 10 minutes where you know what, I just want to retreat into myself, into a space for just me, myself, and I. And of course, one important person you can bring into the picture is your creator, your source. When you're having that alone time, the best person to have it with is God. That is the space where you can communicate and begin to download things from the spirit realm. Things that not human beings are giving to you. A lot of the time, care for you, the oil in the lamp that should keep your light shining, that should keep your light burning, will run empty. That is what lack of self-care does. So if you want to keep radiating, even in your busyness, make out that time to say, you know what, I work Friday morning, I'm just going to take a little walk all by myself. I'm just going to have a little, sometimes it could be if you have younger children, time before you go to sleep or sleeping, you just want to have that 5-10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a whole day. And of course, if you can afford to take yourself away for spa treatments, facials, and what have you, by all means, why not? If you can't afford to do the little ones, prioritize sleep, prioritize exercise, prioritize eating healthy, drinking enough water, not fizzy drinks. Because some of us sell some of these fizzy drinks because we have a solution. This is a topic that dealt with, and I want to move as fast as I can. Okay? So I have 7 more to go, and I'll rush through the other ones. So the next thing I have here is compassion. A radiant woman is known to be compassionate. You have compassion for yourself and you have compassion for other people. You are kind and understanding. You are not judgmental of other people. You learn to communicate effectively. You learn to listen to other people. Women who radiate are supportive of one another. We don't tear each other down. And that is what we do at the Radiant Women Growth Network. We do not tear each other down. We are there. It's a community, that is designed to pull women together and provide each other with shoulders to lean on. Empathy should be one of your radiance. The next thing, creativity. A woman who shines, embraces her gifts, her talents. She creates valuable products and service. If your talents are and you want to maximize them, she is your go-to person. I believe everyone who has been here since yesterday should be following her by now. All right. She is still my coach. I am telling you the truth. She still coaches me in a lot of areas. Okay. You embrace the powerful tool to express yourself. Those times where you are bored, there's something that you can do. You can be someone who knits, you can bake, you can do little things. Let's not go to things that are too high. You can bake, you can make clothes. What is that thing? You can make dresses for people. There are so many. You can cook, you can clean. There are so many gifts that we have. And that is where we need to allow our creative juices flow. And trust me, I'm speaking now. I speak on platforms to be for money. Yes, it is a talent that I identified. And Oluchi who spoke here helped me to identify it. And I began to, grow myself in it. And you can use your talents and your giftings, of course, to solve problems around the world. And see, money, Sandra talked about it. It's not, money is just the tool. Think of money in, the amount they have in there. It is just a tool of exchange. The real money is in the value that you can give. And you can only give this value when you embrace your talents, your strengths, and you begin to put them to good use. I will far above rubies. You need to begin to recognize what you are worth in gold. And that's what will not come from anybody else. It has to come from you. And it comes from you when you connect to your source. You didn't just appear on the surface of the earth. Someone created you. Someone made it possible that you are here in this time and in this moment. Draw your worth from God. Draw your worth from your source. And the Radiant Woman does not stand for everything. You can't just stand for anything. That is where personal values comes into play. If you're here in this conference and you have not yet identified what your personal values are, that should be an assignment for you to take away. That should be an assignment for you to take away. What are your personal values? If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And that is not who a Radiant Woman is. The truth is, when you stand for something, your personal value, your vision, your life's vision and mission, they all help you to know what lane to stay on in life. So you won't be stressing who likes you and who doesn't like you, because you know your own people. And the thing is, when you discover why you're here on earth, it's like a magnetic field. It will attract the right people to you. And you will not have to be explaining yourself too much, because the right people speak your language. They understand where you're headed. A Radiant Woman is not there to be dragging. She stays away from negativity, from anything that will drain you of your self-esteem. If you're in a circle where the people that are around you are always talking you down, your voice is not heard. Each time you open your mouth to talk, they just shush you. I'm sorry to let you know that you're in the wrong circle. Some of us are trying to force ourselves into spaces that we have outgrown. It is time to shift. It is time to move away from this place where you are squeezing yourself into just because you want to belong. That is not one of the attributes or traits of a Radiant Woman. A Radiant Woman is self-aware that she is capable of achieving great things, and she's ready to put in the work and succeed. She is respectful and bold at the same time. She's respectful, she's humble and courageous and confident at the same time. All right, let me move. The seventh one is that the Radiant Woman exudes positivity and joy. If there's one thing that people know me for, is my smile. Even when I'm going through difficult moments, I am grateful for it. It is a gift, actually, that I have embraced. I'm grateful for it because it's difficult to see me not smiling. Sometimes, yes, life will throw its lemons at me. I'm a human being, just like life throws lemons at each one of us. But the ability for me to exude positivity comes very naturally. And I believe you have that too. You have that too. Such that if you step into any presence, any space, your presence will just exude positivity. Say no to negativity, no negative vibe zone. That is what, because the truth is, when you nurture the light that you carry, when you step into a space, every negativity disappears from that space because your light overwhelms it. What does the Bible say about light? That the light would, when the light appears, even darkness cannot comprehend the light. So darkness doesn't even understand light. How much more trying to contend with light? Do you get it? You want to grow yourself to that woman who is joyful, even in the midst of a storm. The circumstances around you would not define your disposition. The circumstances around your aura, the persona that you carry. And that is because you know the person that is backing you. You know whose daughter you are. You're not just a biological parent. No. Someone greater and that is sovereign gave you as a gift to your parents to be co-creators with him. So come on, get up, dust yourself, and emerge and stay radiant. Your presence is an ambience of grace, you carry a positive energy everywhere you go, and it rubs off on other people. There's too much darkness in the world. There's too much negativity in the world. And if there's any reason why I do what I do, it is because I want to make my mark on the world. So that when I'm no longer here, my light will keep shining. And I hope that is the same for each and every one of us. You want to uplift people. You want to inspire people. You know, empower other people. You learn to rise above your obstacles, rise above limitations, and truly continue to radiate. Not shining because of you. You're not the owner of the light that you carry. The bigger source where your light is coming from. That is why that light, you should not allow the things happening around you to dim your light. I've talked about the 7th one, and I will go to the 8th one. A radiant woman is a woman who embraces mindful connection and collaboration. We have said so much. Every speaker on this conference touched on mindful connection, down to even finances. Sandra talked about it. And the truth is, you would only know the right community for you when you have identified your personal values, your purpose, your vision, your mission, your identity. That is when you will know the space that is right for you to be in. Not every space is right for you. Not every soil is good for your seed of greatness to grow on. And until you identify that seed of greatness that you carry, that light, the type of seed that it is, then you will know the right soil for it. You will know the right weather conditions for it. You will know the right atmosphere for it. You understand as a radiant woman that you cannot do life alone. You need other people. There is a saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you go far, then you will go in the company of like-minded people. Somebody put that in the chat section for me. Put that in the chat room. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go in the company of like-minded women. And that is what the community of. You build healthy relationships because they are essential for your well-being and your happiness in life. Honestly, every woman that is on this conference that has spoken, some I have met in person, I think just one or a few. The others, I have not even met them physically. But we have so strong a bond because we share the same mindset, the same way of thinking. We have the same perspective to life in a lot of ways on the grand scheme of things. So that is the kind of relationship you want to be building. I wrote an ebook earlier this year on how to cultivate healthy relationships for women. And that ebook, the trigger for it, or what prompted me to write that ebook, was because on Facebook, so many communities that I belong to, there was this problem about women difficulty building healthy relationships. So many women feeling lonely, feeling they don't have friends. And I had people giving all sorts of advice. And I said, if only people know that the truth is you cannot build a mindful connection, know who you are. Knowing who you are helps you know who you need in your life to go on that journey. Honestly, even in marriage, identify helps you know who you need to tag along with on that lifelong journey called marriage. Men have missed it because they did not identify themselves early in life. But that doesn't mean things cannot get better. If you're in such a relationship where you made that mistake, things can be improved upon. Don't throw in the towel. You can work on yourself, grow yourself, develop yourself even more, and you end up belonging to a community where things doing have written came because I connected with authors and I submitted myself to accountability. I will be rounding up soon. Good listener. You're a good communicator. You let into your spirit, into your heart, and the things that there is power in the tongue, speaking self-empowering words over yourself. What are you telling yourself? Oh my God, you're telling yourself, I don't think I can meet up. I am good enough. I think I am worthy. You need to begin change those things. The things that I shared in my book is rescripting your powerhouse. Rescripting your powerhouse. So I leave that, and I will not leave you without saying, make sure you stay connected to the ultimate source of light. God is the ultimate source of light, the one who created you and me. If you do not have a great relationship with him, his arms are wide open. He's the one who can give you the clarity that you seek. He's the one who can give you what you need so that when human beings like us begin to support you on that journey, a soul, you already have a connection with the light that never goes in. I hope that I've been able to give you tips that would help you stay radiant, and I hope that this conference has helped you to move from that place of lack of clarity to a place of clarity. I hope you have moved from darkness into light, and you're ready to embrace radiance. You are ready to emerge as a radiant woman that you are. Thank you so much for listening, and remember that you are perfect for your purpose. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You are perfect for your purpose. You are worthy. You are capable of achieving great things, and know that whatsoever you set your heart to do, you can achieve it. You can do it because you are a radiant woman. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for attending this conference, and stay connected with us on all of our social media handles. We will be sharing more in the comments in the conference group so that you can stay connected and get more. There's no way we would share everything that we have for you in this conference. And so if you go to Oluchi's links, you will find her books there. Her courses are also there. If you follow, Sandra is going to be, she has a WhatsApp group as well. If you want help with your finances and your career, we will be sharing that. Just check, I believe the team are already sharing all of that there. And I have a new book as well that touches on everything that we have discussed in this conference. And I don't know how else to put this, but there will be a link for you to join the group where you can stay connected for the pre-order details and everything for you to have that book. I don't know how to describe it in words. It is a self-empowering book. I shared a lot about my journey into radiance in that book. I shared about my healing. I shared about trauma. I shared a lot about core beliefs that Onye talked about. I shared about core beliefs. I shared about cognitive distortions. These are things that can limit you. And of course, strategies for how you can break away from those limitations, how you can rise above them, overcome them, and step into your self-worth. Step ahead with all of us. You're more than welcome to join the Radiant Women Growth Network. And we'll see you again next year when we eventually hold another Radiant Women Conference in 2025. God bless you. Thank you.
just begun. We're the Radiant Women Growth Network. Daughters of courage, architects of grace. Guided by wisdom, we find our sacred space, shining with purpose and passion, forever aligned. Conversational fireside chats, laughter in the air, honesty our currency, vulnerability laid bare, encouraging each other, celebrating the climb. We're woven by resilience, a tapestry of time. We're the Radiant Women Growth Network. Daughters of courage, architects of grace. Guided by wisdom, we find our sacred space, shining with purpose and passion, forever aligned. Oh, we're the Radiant Women Growth Network. Daughters of courage, architects of grace. Guided by wisdom, we find our sacred space, shining with purpose and passion, forever aligned. Forever aligned. Forever aligned. Oh. We're the Radiant Women Growth Network. Daughters of courage, architects of grace.